symbol to Eknath Shinde, his arch nemesis, who split the party a few months ago. How did that happen? Well, the Election Commission recognized his rival's camp as the real Shiv Sena. And today, perhaps in the ultimate humiliation, Uddhav Thackeray lost control of the party's office, its physical space in the State Assembly. Just like the name and symbol, this space, this almost sacred space, has been synonymous with the Sena almost since its inception. Now, we are told that after inflicting these 3 defeats, Uddhav's arch nemesis Eknath Shinde, Shiv Sena party, is now eyeing the party's office at the BMC headquarters. Now, if Shinde were to manage to secure this too, it would represent the ultimate humiliation for the Thackerays. Viewers, first listen in to the reports that have been filed by our correspondents, and then also, of course, the reactions of the Shiv Sena as it is now assumed its present form.
Eknath Shinde Shiv Sena faction, after taking charge over Vidhan Bhavan political party office, it has been seen that they might come to BMC headquarters where we are present. Look at this sealed office. Now, this was sealed on 29th of December 2022, and by the order of administrator, it was seen that after a scuffle breaking out between both the Sena factions, this particular office of Shiv Sena was closed. Here now you can see all the ex-corporators of Shiv Sena from majorly Uddhav Thackeray camp are present here. It is important to note that while we speak about the Vidhan Bhavan office, it has been done after taking the charge, when we see Election Commission of India had passed an order that it will be retained by Eknath Shinde faction. And after which today since 9 AM we saw series of meetings taking place, and after which Eknath Shinde faction had reached from Balasaheb Bhavan to Vidhan Bhavan and they took over the party office there. Technically, they might come here, and for the preparations, we are seeing that Uddhav Thackeray camp leaders, in fact, the representatives of the BMC, the former representatives have already reached here.
जैसे आपको कहा कि महाराष्ट्र विधिमंडल के लॉ है, वैसा हमारे बीएमसी का भी लॉ है। बीएमसी के लॉ से वो पार्टी के मेंबर को डिस्कस करने के लिए, वहाँ पे बीएमसी का कारोबार चलाने के लिए वो पार्टी के लिए ऑफिस दिया जाता है। अभी शिवसेना पार्टी और वो सिंबल हमारे पास है, तो बीएमसी कायदे से वो ऑफिस हमारे पास आएगा।
Obviously, it's all a bit too much for Uddhav Thackeray, who vented his spleen against Eknath Shinde, his backer, the Bharatiya Janata Party, and also the Election Commission. Listen in.
आता आपण जे म्हणालात की त्यांनी शिवसेना नाव चोरलं तरी ठाकरे नाव नाही चोरू शकत, त्याच्यामुळे एका गोष्टीत तर मी नक्कीच भाग्यवान आहे की मी बाळासाहेबांच्या आणि माच्या पोटी जन्माला आलो. ते भाग्य काही त्यांना मिळालेलं नाही आणि ते भाग्य त्यांना दिल्लीवाले काही देऊ शकत नाहीत. तर हा सगळा विषय बघितल्यानंतर निवडणूक आयोग आत्ताचा जो आहे तो बरखास्त झाला पाहिजे, केला पाहिजे आणि निवडणुकीच्या प्रक्रियेने निवडणूक आयुक्त नेमले गेले पाहिजेत, ही माझी शिवसेनेची मागणी आहे.
Now the BJP is of course asking Uddhav Thackeray to stop blaming others for his own dwindling electoral prospects. A few days ago, erstwhile Aghadi ally and now well-wisher Sharad Pawar asked Uddhav Thackeray to stop whining over the loss of a party symbol. And Pawar is right. Viewers, here are some hard facts. And I always bring these hard facts out so that you can come closer to the truth. These hard facts suggest that splits and mergers are not new to Indian politics. There have been many instances where satraps have emerged winners under brand new party names and symbols. It's clearly not what you are called or what your symbol is, but how you serve the people that matters to them. Now let's take you over some of these facts. And Uddhav Thackeray should perhaps focus on these facts, because it will tell him that even if you lose it all, your party symbol, etc., you can still come up trumps if your message is sincere, if you really desire to serve the people with sincerity. Now let's walk you through this. There, viewers, was one of the most iconic splits in Indian political history. It was the first split in the Congress. The Congress O came under K. Kamraj, Congress R under Indira Gandhi. And look at what happens. In the 1971 general elections, the Congress O won only 16 seats, but the Congress R won 352 seats. So, Indira Gandhi's faction won a thumping victory. Now, viewers, in 1999 rather, Sharad Pawar left the Congress and formed the NCP. You might remember that. Pawar left over Sonia's foreign origins. It was a bitter crack-up of the party. 1999 general elections, the Congress won 10 seats in Maharashtra. The NCP significantly won 6 seats, viewers, in Maharashtra. So it came a close second. It wasn't wiped out, it wasn't eviscerated, and Sharad Pawar certainly didn't think that he came away a loser. In 1998, Mamta left the Congress and formed the Trinamool Congress. In the 1998 general elections, the Congress won 1 seat in Bengal. TMC won 7 seats in Bengal. It tells you something. 1964, another iconic split in Indian politics. This time within the left ranks, the communist ranks. The split in the Communist Party of India gave birth to the CPIM. In the 1967 general elections, the CPI won 23 seats. Mother Party won 23 seats. The CPIM won 19 seats, viewers. So there's really no reason for Uddhav Thackeray to whinge and whine and moan. In 1997, Lalu broke away from the Janata Dal and formed the RJD, the Rashtriya Janata Dal. In the 1998 general elections, viewers, the Janata Dal, the mother party, won 1 seat. The RJD won 17 seats. To look for scapegoats then seems more like an attempt by Uddhav Thackeray to deflect blame away from his own self, perhaps from his own failings. Is that really the case? Let's open this up for debate tonight, viewers. We are joined by a panel that will not hold back its punches. I want to first begin with Tehseen Poonawala. I want to begin with Sanjay Hegde. We also have with us Ratan Sharda and of course Ishkaran Bhandari. We are also awaiting Amit Malviya, the national spokesman of the BJP. He's joining us in just a few moments. But let me first begin with you, Mr. Poonawala. Sharad Pawar came around the other day. Now, of course, he realized perhaps that it was politically incorrect to have said what he said, but he said to Uddhav Thackeray, stop blaming your tools. Stop blaming the fact that you may not have the flag or the symbol, the name, even the party office. You can do without all of those. Others have done fantastically well. Go out there, stop this whining and whinging. Would you agree with Sharad Pawar?
Good evening, Rahul. Thank you. Good evening to all your viewers and to my fellow panelists. Yeah, to that extent, I agree with Mr. Pawar because there are two aspects to this debate. One is the political and one is the legal. I want to reflect on both. But to the political aspect, I agree with Mr. Pawar that there's nothing you can do, so you have to fight back. It's like a cat that is cornered. But more importantly, who can you blame but yourself? If you're chief minister or you are in government, which includes the Congress, and 30 or 40 of your MLAs are being escorted by Mumbai police, on the border up to Gujarat from Maharashtra, and your commissioner does not tell you. So, I mean, that to me is shocking. So there has to be some hard political questions to be asked. No doubt about it. But I have a legal query, because we are sitting with two very good lawyers, Sanjay Hegde, who always helps me, and Ishkaran, who I like a lot. You see, what I'm very uncomfortable about is this election commission order, and I went through it. Now, while I want to cast no aspersions on the election commission, it's a constitutional body, I am surprised at the hurry and the speed at which the election commission decided to resolve this issue of the Shiv Sena, but has not resolved the issue of Chirag Paswan and the LJP pending prior to the Shiv Sena issue. Amazing. It just picked and chose. Now the election commission or supporters of the BJP says, supporters of the election commission, 27 February is a by-election. But a by-election existed even previously, which was contested on two separate symbols. So that was no problem. So why did you not solve the Chirag Paswan issue, but chose to solve only the Shiv Sena issue? Point number one. Point number two. I find the decision of the election commission arbitrary with respect to the election commission. Why? Because the election commission more or less in its order says, look, Uddhav Thackeray had the power to appoint a committee that then appointed him as the president. Fair enough. Can I please know from the Bharatiya Janata Party that the parliamentary board that was reconstituted just recently by JP Nadda, which then went on to elect JP Nadda, how is that constitutional? So Bhajpa kare to chamatkar, koi aur kare to gunegar. How does the same rule not apply to the BJP but apply to the Shiv Sena? I just haven't understood this. Or for that matter, let's even extend it to the Congress, which appoints the CWC, which then appoints the president. How is this acceptable for one political party but not for the other? So the election commission needs to clarify on this.
Okay, the same rule may apply theoretically to the BJP if perhaps the Congress or somebody else were to split the BJP, perhaps even from within. If someone from within the BJP were to split it, then perhaps this question could be legitimately asked. You haven't still answered the fundamental question. Is Uddhav Thackeray using this as a pretext to somehow deflect onus from his own mishandling? Now remember, viewers, something like this transpired just after the election result. If you remember, viewers, the Shiv Sena and the BJP were allies. They come out of an election and suddenly Uddhav Thackeray outmaneuvers the BJP. That actually tried to pull off a coup of its own. Very complicated, viewers. But everything about this has been opportunistic. The fact here is, why is Uddhav Thackeray, does he have the grounds to attack the election commission? That's the fundamental question. And I want to bring in, and yes, you can talk about prioritizing this over the other. There might be an issue there, but many people would turn around and say that there is no election happening, there's no really pressing need for the election commission to take a position on, let's say, Mr. Paswan. I'm not saying that, I don't believe that, but it could be argued. But let me just bring in Ishkaran Bhandari on the most substantial points. The election commission today is being accused of partisanship. Do you think this is more of an excuse?
It's an absolute excuse, because there is no partisanship. They went in with the factor and they have given it out their judgment that 76% of the vote cast for Shiv Sena are with the MLAs which are with Mr. Shinde, the Chief Minister of Maharashtra. So 76% they are deciding, and they say that it's an objective criteria on which we can decide very easily. But before we come to all that, let us, because you gave many examples of succession politics, I think a better example is Tamil Nadu, where a towering leader died and there was a succession battle. After the death of MGR, Janki, his wife, became the CM for 22 days. The MLAs are overwhelmingly with her, but
she could not prove it in the assembly. A president's rule was imposed by the Congress government at that time. And what happened thereafter? In the election, Jayalalitha faction and Janki faction both fought the election. The party symbol was frozen, as the election commission has frozen right now. And even though they both lost, the government was of DMK, but Jayalalitha's faction got 27 seats and was the clear number 2. Janki's faction got 2 seats, and then Jayalalitha, history is written how she became the towering leader. So end of the day, all these symbols, all these names amount for nothing but the people will decide. The BMC election is yet to come. If Uddhav Sena manages to sweep that election, I think the debate is over, which is the real Shiv Sena. And if Mr. Shinde manages to sweep it or win it or in alliance with BJP, form the government, there also, end of the day, in democracy, everything lies in the hands of the people. But as far as Election Commission is concerned, they passed an order which is absolutely in accordance with law. It has been challenged in Supreme Court. We'll see what the court does. But of all the options before the Election Commission, I think they chose what's the path of the law.
Okay, on the other point that Tehseen Poonawalla raised about prioritizing one case over the other, now we do know that even the Supreme Court does that quite often.
No, there are two factors to that. Firstly, I agree fully with Tehseen that if a sitting CM cannot protect or cannot know that his MLAs are being taken out, then does that person deserve to remain a CM? I am in agreement with Tehseen on that. Now on to priority. There are often enough times that one petitioner is also moving applications and asking for early listing of matter. I don't know an LGP case. Is either of the parties wanting to resolve it? Have everybody completed the pleadings? Are there applications being made? Whereas in this case, the petitioner could be asking the court for a judgment or the Election Commission for a judgment. There are multiplicity of factors. So just to pick out this has come early, that has come late, I think is not going to lead anywhere.
Okay, let me bring in
to both.
Yeah, okay, very quickly, yes.
Yeah, very quickly. On the first factor of more MLAs with Mr. Shinde, actually, and comparing that to Jayalalitha's case is actually factually incorrect, because in this particular case, in this order, the Election Commission writes that we have not taken into account the Karyakartas. Now remember, the Karyakartas of Shiv Sena are registered. They've not even decided to count that. They've only gone by the electoral strength of the MLAs elected on the Shiv Sena symbol. In case of Jayalalitha and the other case, they were fighting for the symbol. Here, the election was on the symbol.
No, hang on, just a minute. This is the reasoning, and let me take you through. Let me walk you through the reasoning, and I want to bring in Mr. Sanjay Hegde. Okay, 1 second. Yes, Mr. Ishkan Bhandari, what were you trying to say? Make your point.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Please let us be very clear. In that case, the symbol was frozen, and after that, both the parties went on, like in this case, went on separate symbols to contest the election.
That's right.
So let us be very factually very clear.
Yeah, so one second.
But that happened here also.
Now let's talk about the numbers. Let's talk about the numbers.
So that is why when they are deciding the issue, they decided as to who has the most elected numbers and who has the most, how the people have voted.
Yeah, so let me very quickly, how the people have voted.
Uddhav Thackeray, not by...
One second, Tehseen Poonawalla, please. Okay, just 1 second. Let me just go over clause 124. It's very important. The 40 MLAs supporting the petitioner garnered 36,57,327 votes out of a total of, and this is quite clear, 47,82,440 votes. That is 76% of votes polled in favor of 55 winning MLAs in the general election to the Legislative Assembly in 2019. This contrasts with 11,25,113 votes garnered by the 15 MLAs whose support is claimed by the respondents, that is 23.5% of the votes polled in favor of winning 55 MLAs. Further, as against 90,49,789 total votes polled by Shiv Sena in general election to the Legislative Assembly of Maharashtra in 2019, including the losing candidates, votes polled by 40 MLAs supporting the petitioners come to minus 40%, whereas votes polled by 15 MLAs supporting the respondent comes to minus 12% of the total votes polled by candidates contesting on symbol of the party in 2019 general election to the Legislative Assembly of Maharashtra. So the numbers clearly favored the Eknath Shinde faction. Mr. Hegde, this is maths, and maths is pure.
No, maths can also be used selectively. No, there is that thing on statistics that if your head is in a noun and your feet are in the fridge, then statistically you're comfortable.
But sir,
so maths can, no. But
you're talking about statistics. I'm talking about pure maths.
How do you use it? This is a statistic which was used. Who got how many votes and who is with whom? That may be one measure of deciding. But there have been several other precedents also. Normally, what happens is that that the symbol is frozen and both factions get separate symbols. Mr. Sharad Pawar did remind people as to what happened when the Congress split originally under Indira Gandhi.
Yeah.
Though the symbol went, the two bullocks with the yoke. The two bullocks went to the Congress O, and the Congress R, which was Indira Gandhi's faction, got the cow and calf. The cow and calf then marched to victory. So, yes, in one sense, Mr. Pawar is right that symbols did matter at a particular point of time, but notwithstanding the loss of a symbol, ultimately when the people get to vote, they will finally decide who is the real Shiv Sena. Now, the question really is, why was the Shiv Sena in a hurry to use this metric about MLAs, when the basic question of whether the MLAs had incurred defection, had not incurred defection, would the anti-defection law apply to them? Would it not apply to them because there was a no confidence motion against the speaker? All these are before the Supreme Court. Now, tomorrow, if the Supreme Court were to say, no, this entire defection problem has wrongly been resolved, and therefore, all things have to be restored to status quo ante. So, why was the election? Why was the election commission?
Hang on. Mr. Hegde, see.
Rahul, can I have 10
I'll read out 5 points.
I can handle one interruption at a time.
Yeah, 1 second. So Mr. Hegde,
decide who's the moderator.
I'm just 1 second. Let me just come in, Mr. Hegde. It's very simple. That look, instead of casting aspersions on the fair name of the election commission, go up in appeal. The Supreme Court will deal with the matter.
That's exactly what they have done, and I will not prejudge what the Supreme Court will say.
No, but Uddhav Thackeray has already prejudged the election commission in the court of public opinion. Do you think that is fair?
Well, he could have very well said that the election commission is as independent as the enforcement directorate.
No,
would that be fair?
But he said exactly that. He said exactly that in not so many words. Now, the point is,
so do we have free, fair and fearless institutions?
Okay, but world over...
That is the question.
Okay. World over, and I just want to counter you on this, Sanjay Hegde ji. The constitution of the Shiv Sena, including amendments made in 2018, the EC said vested authoritarian powers in the hands of the party president. And it is for this reason that Uddhav Thackeray factions claim that they were in a numerical majority as far as organizational posts and support of the cadre did not cut ice with the EC. It's quite clear. Jiski lathi, uski bhais.
That is not the law, no.
Oh,
see,
that's not the law.
No. Let's put it this way. Tomorrow, let's have a situation where of the 55 remaining Congress MPs, 40 odd decide that, they don't want to face the ED, they don't want to do this, they go and form another faction. Then would the election commission also get into the question, you see, there is this one family which controls the party, shall we rewrite their constitution? The election commission is about handling free and fair elections. Election symbols are part of that process. They were very necessary at a particular point of time when in India there were large masses of people who could not read or write. And therefore, the first election commissioner, Sukumar Sen, came out with election symbols. Then these election symbols have become a kind of brand. The question is, who owns the brand? The brand. So this is more a fight about the branding exercise. Branding exercises normally get resolved.
Sir, this is not a fight about the branding exercise. Uddhav Thackeray has made this a fight about the brand that the EC today represents. That is the fight. I'm sorry, let's not be...
problem. Just 1 second. Rahul, let me complete.
Yeah.
The election commission is supposed to be an impartial umpire. But we have seen umpires like Steve Bucknor. We have seen what they have done to India, and at times India has protested.
So, Mr. Hegde, after every election, the umpire's ability to give a verdict without any bias is questioned. We've even had a case where people have said that the EVMs are being rigged by the Election Commission, that they're supplied to one particular party well in advance. Anyhow, let the BJP's national spokesperson come in here, Amit Malviya. Sour grapes or the EC has become a handmaiden, as Sanjay Hegde would like us to believe, the Enforcement Directorate has become in the hands of the ruling establishment. It's a simple, straightforward question to you, Amit Malviya.
Look, Rahul, there is a tendency among those who end up on the losing side to blame institutions for everything that they cannot achieve. Now, in this particular case, very clearly, the Election Commission has outlined the reason why it has awarded the name and symbol to the Shinde faction and called it the original Shiv Sena. More than two-thirds MLA and MPs are now with the Shinde faction. Of the 55, 40 are with Shinde faction. Out of the 18 members of parliament, 13 are with the Shinde faction. In terms of vote share, they have got as much as 75% vote. Even if you were to include candidates who lost and have contested on the Shiv Sena election, still the numbers are overwhelmingly in favor of the Shinde faction. Now, given this and the fact that the party constitution has been mutilated beyond redemption, the Election Commission has given its verdict. Now, clearly, one party will always be aggrieved, as the case is in this case. Uddhav Thackeray has lost control of the party that his father founded, and Eknath Shinde is now the inheritor of Balasaheb's legacy. If Uddhav Thackeray feels that there is genuine reason, I'm sure he has the counsel of excellent lawyers or erudite, educated lawyers like Mr. Hegde, who can represent him in the Supreme Court and fight it out. But at the moment, the matter is settled. The Shiv Sena name and symbol is with Eknath Shinde. They are in a coalition with the BJP, and the government in Maharashtra is doing the job of 5 years in the coming 2.5 years, or about 2 years that they have got. Having said that, let's come to the politics of it all. I want to ask, where is Mr. Pawar? He hasn't extended a word of condolence for Uddhav Thackeray, although he was the man who was egging on Uddhav Thackeray to continue to be the chief minister. I want to know, where is the Congress party who were in alliance with the Shiv Sena, because they have somehow managed to retain their legislators, and Uddhav Thackeray has lost his party. The legacy, the Thackeray name that they thought was theirs for keeping. Now, having said that, you're absolutely right. When the polls happen in Maharashtra, the Lok Sabha first, followed by the Assembly election, the people of Maharashtra will decide in their wisdom which Shiv Sena is the actual Shiv Sena. And clearly, at that point in time, the Uddhav Thackeray faction will have the confidence to go in and ask for a vote in the name of whatever they stood for. Okay. And the matter will be settled fair and square. Where is the problem? I don't see it.
Yogi Gade. Yogi Gade is also joining us. Yogi Gade, why are you moaning, whining and not accepting the reality? 2/3 of your MLAs walk out. Clearly there is disaffection. Clearly they are upset. You have 2/3 of your MPs walking out. Clearly there is disaffection. Clearly there is disillusionment. There is a coup of sorts. And they have said that Mr. Uddhav Thackeray doesn't represent the values of the Shiv Sena. You have done a massive volte-face, sir. You joined the Congress party and you allowed the Congress to even abuse your icon, Veer Savarkar. How do you expect the Shiv Sainik that stood for what Veer Savarkar stands for to accept this? And your boss kept quiet.
May I speak?
Yeah, please. Question is to you.
Yes, sir. If you have seen the facts, Shiv Sena has not kept quiet. Shiv Sena has in fact urged the central government to give Bharat Ratna to Veer Savarkar ji even being in the Mahavikas Agadi. And number two, as far as you are talking about the MLAs and MPs, sir, the EC, if you see, if it has given an unconstitutional verdict because the MLAs and MPs don't represent the entire party, sir. There are the party cadets, there are so many party members, there are Shaka Pramukhs, there are city presidents, there are district presidents in the party who are part of this democracy.
Who appoints them?
1 minute. If you decide only the MLAs and MPs represent the party, then it's unconstitutionally wrong, sir. Tomorrow, if Aam Aadmi Party's majority of the MLAs go somewhere else, will they be the owners of the party, sir? This is not democracy, sir.
Who appoints them? Who appoints your Shaka Pramukhs?
It's totally giving a wrong message to the democracy of our country.
Who appoints your Shaka Pramukhs? Isn't it Uddhav Thackeray? How can that be a legitimate test? Obviously, those people who have suddenly been elected or appointed rather.
Sir, there are members of the party who are a part of the political party, not just the MLA.
Yogi Gade, there are two problems here. Number one, let me come back to you. Please, you're an advocate. Let me come back to you. And I will bring in Ratan Sharda right after that. Mr. Yogi Gade, there are two problems with what you're saying. The first problem, of course, is that the Shiv Sena stood by mutely when the Congress party's own ministers rubbished and ridiculed Veer Savarkar. When the Congress's putative leader, Rahul Gandhi continually, show me one statement that Uddhav Thackeray made ticking off Rahul Gandhi about Veer Savarkar, your own party's icon.
Yes, sir.
Tell me, one statement.
They have said Veer Savarkar should be given the Bharat Ratna.
Can you give me one statement from Uddhav Thackeray ticking off Rahul Gandhi? One statement.
Yes, sir. They have said they don't agree with Rahul Gandhi.
Who is they? Can you show where Uddhav Thackeray has said publicly when Rahul Gandhi made this statement that I do not agree with you, Rahul Gandhi, apologize, withdraw your statement. Show me one statement.
I will send you. Shiv Sena has said they don't agree with Rahul Gandhi.
Sir, Shiv Sena, I'm not talking about Shiv Sena. The coup was against Mr. Uddhav Thackeray for being...
Yes,
no, one second. Please, sir.
They went ahead.
You're not letting me finish my sentence. I'm giving the facts, please. Uddhav Thackeray faces backlash because he put power above. Very importantly, viewers, the personality, the love of the ordinary Shiv Sainik for Veer Savarkar. That's the contention, that's the charge, that is what Mr. Shinde said. Yogi Gade, show me one statement from Uddhav Thackeray saying, Rahul Gandhi, please keep quiet. You have no business to be saying this in these many words. Show me one statement.
Yes, I will send you the statement after the debate, sir.
No, why after the debate? You've come prepared for this debate. I'm sure you've come.
Time to finish also, sir. When you're asking me a question, you should allow me to answer.
No. Please tell me.
Yes.
Come on, tell me.
Yes, sir.
Give me the one statement.
Shiv Sena has also told, and it is already also reported on your channel, Shiv Sena asked the central government to award Bharat Ratna to Veer Savarkar, even being with the Mahavikas Agadi. The central government has still not taken a decision on this. And secondly, coming to the election commission, sir, if today this is happening with Shiv Sena, it may happen with any political party in India, any political party in future, and all political parties, if they don't raise their voice today.
No, don't go on to that. Don't go on to that. Yogi Gade, I'm asking you a very simple question. When was? You say a statement was issued. When was this statement issued? When Uddhav Thackeray was in trouble, facing the full revolt, or when he was comfortably seated as Chief Minister of the state? Tell me. No, don't just tell me exactly when. Tell me exactly when. It was after the revolt, sir. Yogi Gade, it was after the result. And this is what he said, very tamely. No, one second.
1 minute. Sir, if you don't let me answer, then what?
Sir, on November 20th, 2022, I have the facts.
No,
you are giving us, sir, a runaround. I have the facts. I am presenting to you the facts. Dispute me, fact for fact. November 20th, 2022, the revolt was full-blown. Ratan Sharda will remember this. At that time, I remember, embattled, Uddhav Thackeray holds a press conference. He's almost crying. And he says, on Rahul Gandhi after having heard the Shindes and others. He said, the statement was wrong. I do not agree with Rahul said. We have immense love and respect for Savarkar. We have faith in him. After the event, not before. Ratan Sharda, how do you respond to this?
See, I would not even get into this Savarkar controversy to turn it into a, some kind of excuse for Uttarakhand faction to come out of this particular episode, whether it is Savarkar episode or the entire episode of Maharashtra government. My issue is that, one is that you cannot keep on bailing, because what statement did he make? He said, I am luckily born a Thackeray, which they cannot take away. So purely dynastic call, purely a call based on which he was trying to control Shiv Sena. But cadre and voters, as far as I know, I have been living in Mumbai since my childhood, born here, people are very unhappy. Their cadre, their voters are very embarrassed the way Uddhav Thackeray threw away Hindutva ideology and became friends with secular parties and tried to be more secular than secular himself. So the very ground on which it had succeeded for years together, much beyond its actual strength in the electorate, it was given due respect by BJP continuously. It played second fiddle as long as BJP was not as strong as Shiv Sena. Despite all this, it ditched its partner. You will remember Raj Thackeray, who rose on his own strength, nearly beat Shiv Sena down, but for his laziness, erratic behavior, this Navnirman Sena would have taken down Shiv Sena totally. It was BJP which saved Shiv Sena with the alliance. Then if you look at this case, he was just a Facebook chief minister. He hardly attended offices. He hardly met his supporters, hardly met electorate. He was a chief minister of Facebook. He was a chief minister of Bollywood. He was a chief minister of Marathi media, which was so tame, it raised no serious questions in entire tenure. So in such a case, if you feel that he still wants to own up Shiv Sena, we have seen the fight Indira Gandhi put up. She didn't worry about the symbol. No other party is worried about symbol. Anytime a decision goes against one particular party, you start raising ruckus on election commission itself. Now he says, dissolve election commission. He has no constitution which is democratic in his own party. He amended it in 2018 and he now talks about dissolving the election commission. So what kind of politics these people are playing, creating disrespect for the constitution, and also they have left their platform openly for the Shiv Sena, which has become main Shiv Sena. When you abandon an ideology, your people don't stand with you, they leave, you don't even know who are leaving. Such a sleeping CM today trying and taking your Thackeray their own strength.
A sleeping CM stepped on the job, compromised on ideology. You yourself, Tehseen Poonawalla, have accused the Bharatiya Janata Party in the past of entering into a wholly opportunistic alliance with the PDP in Kashmir. I remember you've been on this show many times and have said that. Why shouldn't that apply to Uddhav Thackeray? And therefore, why shouldn't that lead to a certain degree of consternation among Shiv Senics, so much so that they decide to break away? Why should that also not apply here?
Fantastic question, and I was hoping for this question, because when the by-election happened, when the election commission froze both the symbols, and the only by-election that happened, Uddhav Thackeray's faction won. Eknath Shinde's faction had to eat humble pie. Second thing, Mr. Malviya raised a very important point. You see, he said...
hang on, there was no candidate from the other faction.
Yes, because they had to withdraw. They had to withdraw.
No.
Between the legs and ran away. They withdrew, put their tails, they had put up a candidate. They withdrew the candidate.
Don't be economical with facts. It was a one-way election because the candidate fielded by the Shiv Sena had lost her husband, and therefore no candidate was fielded. So please don't come on national television and lie.
Put the complete truth out.
No, make your point, but do not lie. And don't obfuscate facts.
No, I'm not.
It was won by Uddhav Thackeray faction.
Please allow me, Rahul. Allow me my time.
Candidate
allow me my time, Rahul.
Their candidate.
One at a time, gentlemen.
Rahul, please allow me my time.
Let him finish. Mr. Malviya, you can rebut him. I'll give you time for rebuttals. Yes. Okay, go ahead.
Mr. Malviya challenged me on the candidate issue. The candidate of the Shiv Sena, the wife...
I have fact-checked you. I have proved that you were...
Mr. Malviya, please allow me to speak.
One second,
now you can go ahead.
Mr. Malviya, please allow me to speak. You'll get your time. Please allow me. Mr. Malviya challenged me on the candidate issue. Now here, the wife, the widow of the candidate, of the sitting MLA who passed away, the BJP government refused to accept her resignation. She had to go to High Court. The High Court gave them a stinging indictment. The Devendra Fadnavis wanted to put a candidate. It is only last minute that BJP and Eknath Shinde had to withdraw because they knew that the candidate was winning. Why did they harass a widow who was contesting?
Okay, one second. Mr. Poonawalla, I just want to put the record out here. No, please, record straight.
Now allow me to fact
No, 1 second. No, Mr. Poonawalla, let me just interrupt you. First of all, you haven't answered my question. You gave me a compliment but didn't answer the question. But nonetheless, I just want to put out the statement of Maharashtra Chief Minister of October 30th, 2022. This was before that by-election that Tehseen Poonawalla is talking about. Maharashtra Chief Minister Eknath Shinde said that while they were assured of a victory, they had decided to back off from the election in view of requests made by leaders from across the political spectrum. Latke was our colleague. Unfortunately, he passed away. All the senior leaders like Pawar Sahib and other MLAs too appealed, and it is our culture that we do not field a candidate against the family members of deceased MLA or MP during the by-poll. We let the family member win unopposed, unquote. That's what was said by him.
Is it their culture
Secondly, is it plausible, Mr. Poonawalla, very quickly, is it plausible that the members who have today broken away from Uddhav Thackeray were upset that he entered into an unholy alliance in their books with a Congress party that stood, which was the antithesis of the Shiv Sena's politics? If this could be true of the BJP and the PDP, why can't it be true of the Shiv Sena under Uddhav Thackeray and the Congress party or even the NCP?
It can't, because the election commission did not count the karyakartas who are registered as Yogesh ji rightly said. Sir, 1 minute, just allow me to...
You're not answering my question. This is about disaffection, sir.
I am coming to exactly that. If you would have counted the karyakartas, you would have
decided on the karyakartas. Just a moment.
Everyone's interrupting me. I cannot make my point. Allow me to make my point. You're all interrupting me.
Argument. No, what I'm saying is any party.
Okay.
No, just any party.
Please allow me.
Let him finish.
Just a moment.
Please.
Just a second.
Okay, let him finish his point.
I'll expose it right now.
Let him finish his point. Please. Yeah.
I am getting your question. That's all.
Let him finish his point.
2 points.
Yeah.
Number one, if there is disaffection, it would have shown in the karyakartas, but the karyakartas continue to be in a majority with Mr. Thackeray, which election commission hasn't seen. But more importantly, this 2018 order, which Mr. Malviya refers to as the legal ground for the election commission, the election commission says it did not know that the constitution was amended and Uddhav Thackeray ji was the Shiv Sena Pramukh. The election commission did not know Chief Minister is Pramukh. The BJP did not know it. Mr. Eknath Shinde, who voted in that, did not know it was amended. Only in 2022, overtaking LJP's case, the election commission comes to know that there's an amendment. We live in strange times, Mr. Shivshankar. We live in absolute.
There is a democratic deficit in the amended constitution, the process, its amendment, and it's working. That's what the court has said. Yes, Mr. Ratan Sharda, final point. Mr. Malviya after that, and then I'll move on.
My simple point was any party split across since independence was decided on karyakarta numbers.
No.
He's talking a lot about karyakarta numbers.
No.
The simple question
wasn't. It wasn't. Certainly not the first time around.
So what is the coming question of Shiv Sena?
Yes.
Why does he want a separate law for Shiv Sena? That was a simple statement. I wanted to answer that.
Every time they want a special case. Okay, Mr. Malviya. Quick one. Karyakarta issue.
Look, as far as the Karyakarta issue is concerned, the Election Commission has looked at the constitution of the party and they believe that the due process of even appointing or having internal democracy has not been followed. The word that they use is mutilated. That is what the Election Commission said. Lastly, and I'm repeating it again, in democracy, all decisions and all judgments are settled in the people's court. The Shiv Sena, the Uddhav faction has lost in the Election Commission.
Okay.
They are free to go to the Supreme Court. And of course, at the end, the People's Court is where it will be all decided.
Okay.
If the Uddhav Thackeray faction, I can't even call them Shiv Sena anymore, if the Uddhav Thackeray faction feels aggrieved, I understand. He has, for his greed to become the chief minister for 2 years, has compromised on ideology, has compromised on every principal value that
it's not the first time.
And he has lost the party.
Okay, it's not the first time that people have compromised on their ideology to join hands with an other party that they don't agree with to form the government or to become chief ministers or even prime ministers. Viewers, that's a separate issue. We are here on a narrow point. Is Mr. Uddhav Thackeray today complaining, protesting too much? And is he undermining democratic institutions by calling into question their impartiality? Especially when the matter now is in court. Surely he could have waited. Anyhow, viewers, we'll be coming back to this. There'll be an important hearing tomorrow in the Supreme Court. But viewers, the negativity, the trenchant attacks have now become a less than desirable template, almost a permanent fixture of our politics. Routinely criticism of the Prime Minister by the opposition quickly degenerates into name-calling. In the latest instance, senior Congress leader Pawan Khera, handpicked by Rahul Gandhi to be a spokesperson, a national spokesperson, even dragged the Prime Minister's late father's fair name into the mud today. Listen in, viewers.
जेपीसी बैठा सकते थे तो नरेंद्र गौतम दास दामोदर दास मोदी को क्या प्रॉब्लम है? गौतम दास है दामोदर दास सॉरी, नाम भले दामोदर दास है, काम गौतम दास का करते हैं. That's true.
Okay, let's open this up. Let's go straight across to Amit Malviya and Tehseen Poonawalla, who are representing the opposite ends. The BJP, Mr. Malviya, calls this a despicable form of politics, resorting to the lowest, most crass common denominators to try and level scores in a very undemocratic way with the BJP. Why do you believe so? And I'll get Tehseen Poonawalla to respond. Yeah, Mr. Malviya, first you.
Rahul, very quickly, Prime Minister Modi's parents, father and mother, had nothing to do with politics. They were not former prime ministers or, for that matter, even party men. So to drag the Prime Minister's father in a manner that the Congress did is hitting a new low. The Congress in the past has called Prime Minister names. They have questioned his caste, his humble background, his poor origins, and everything possible that they could have called him under the sun, they have done. Now, it is quite unbecoming of the Congress to drag the Prime Minister's late father into something that he had nothing to do with. And before the Congress makes their argument, let me clarify, unlike Jawaharlal Nehru or Indira Gandhi or Rajiv Gandhi, who were all in politics, our dynasts have perpetuated this political legacy of theirs, and generation after generation has benefited. Mr. Modi is a self-made man who's risen in public life through his merit, hard work, and integrity, most importantly. Now, it is not about the name or calling somebody or somebody's father in question here. The Gandhis took offense when the Prime Minister said that Rahul Gandhi does not want to use the surname Nehru. I want to take it a step further. Rahul Gandhi does not even want to use his grandfather's name. His name was Firoz Gandhi and not Gandhi. So it should have been Rajiv Gandhi and Sanjay Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi and Priyanka Gandhi. But they call themselves Gandhi because it's politically convenient. But it doesn't stop there. Priyanka Vadra's son, Rehan, calls himself Rehan Rajiv Gandhi. Why? Because it is politically convenient to take Rajiv Gandhi's name. So it doesn't matter whether you want to take the maternal name or the paternal name, as long as it suits their politics, as long as the Gandhi surname rings better than Nehru, even though it is not Gandhi and it is Gandhi, and Rajiv Gandhi sounds better than Vadra, you would take a Rajiv Gandhi and not a Vadra. So the hypocrisy of the Congress is not limited to just calling the Prime Minister's late father into politics, who had nothing to do with politics, but also to use their own surname, their own family tree, as per their convenience, and drop the Nehru surname or the Gandhi surname and call themselves Gandhi, so that half the country thinks that they are related somewhat to Mahatma Gandhi, which is not the case.
This is not the case. Okay. Tehseen Poonawalla, before you respond, I just want to also quickly remind you that Pawan Khera, in the interest viewers of full disclosure, came out and said that he was genuinely confused about the middle name. Now, first of all, do you accept this, Tehseen Poonawalla, this sort of attempt at trying to suggest that he was mistaken, he was genuinely confused, when he actually said, is the middle name Gautam Das or Damodar Das? Might be Damodar Das, but acts like Gautam Das. So quite clearly, he could have at that point said, look, I've got it wrong, sorry about that, but yes, I will address him as such and such. So can you accept that at face value? And yes. Secondly, the BJP says that you have basically run out of ideas to attack the Prime Minister, to take him on, to counter the BJP. So you're going to defame all the way up till 2024.
All right. So yes, Pawan was genuinely confused. And perhaps he could have avoided the tongue-in-cheek, but it was not an insult. He didn't say it in a humiliating manner. But he at least has the grace to even now speak and apologize and say, look, it was a genuine slip of tongue. The most honorable Prime Minister called Mrs. Gandhi the wife of a martyred Prime Minister, Joshi cow. The most honorable Prime Minister. He's never apologized for that. He called Rahul Gandhi ji Italian bachda. He's never apologized for that. In September 2002, the first person to use the word Maut ka Saudagar saw Times of India. No, it's not the Congress, but was the most honorable Chief Minister of Gujarat, now Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi ji. He spoke about Mrs. Gandhi and in Rajasthan said, Congress ki vidwa ki tarah ro rahi thi. Congress ki vidwa ki tarah. A widow whose husband is martyred for our country. And what is the argument? The argument that the Prime Minister makes in Parliament is to, on asked on specific questions, is why is your surname not Nehru? Is that the language of the Prime Minister? Pawan made a mistake. He's apologized. He comes on board. He says, look, it was a slip of tongue. You can forgive him or not forgive him. Has the Prime Minister even once decided to offer an apology for the language he's used? All of this is language used by the Prime Minister. In West Bengal, he was going about saying Didi or Didi. Was that how a Prime Minister should function? I leave this question to your viewers. I have a lot of respect for the Prime Minister. But when the Prime Minister does that and crosses the limit, then don't play victim. But yet, Pawan apologized.
Okay.
I want to come in there. I made a very quick point in right earnest that none of Modi's parents were in politics. If you're in politics, you will have to take the heat as well. Now, Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi and their minions have called the Prime Minister Maut ka Saudagar and worse. So let's not get into who said what. The simple point is, why would you drag the Prime Minister's father, or for that matter mother, who have nothing to do with politics? They have not been former Prime Ministers. Their public
quick response, Tehseen Poonawalla.
Is not
nothing to do with politics, yet you're dragging them through the mud.
Gandhi, Sonia, Rajiv are all questionable because they are in public life. They're impacted in their destiny in some way or the other. And in most cases, adversely.
So the BJP's argument is, even if you're a martyr for the country, because you're in politics, you can be called Vidwa ki tarah ro rahi thi, Jersey cow, Italian bachda. But Rehan Vadra is not in politics. He's a youngster, a teenager. His surname is Vadra. But because a fake article came up which the Congress objected to and they apologized, you continue to make up a story that he's Rehan Gandhi. I mean, he's not in politics. Why doesn't the same logic apply for Rehan?
He said Rehan Rajiv Gandhi. Is he ashamed of Rajiv Gandhi now?
I mean, if there's anyone who knows a little bit, I do, sir. And he's not. He's Rehan Vadra. But anyway, that was a fake article.
I know that.
Why is that fair game? Why is that fair game to drag a teenager into
the Gandhis is quite well known. So obviously your arguments will
I don't know where your source is coming from. I can tell you where mine is coming from. But why is it fair game to drag a teenager who's not in politics? Again, the BJP will continue to do exactly what
Are you saying Rehan, Priyanka Vadra's son, does not accompany them to rallies and roadshows? I have seen the family, the two children in roadshows that happened in Banaras, for example. What politics? What else is politics? If he's not in politics, then what is he doing in a political roadshow of his parents, of his mama, of his mother?
As per the BJP, you can insult a martyr Prime Minister, you can call somebody Vidwa ki tarah ro rahi thi, you can drag somebody's kids in because they go with their parents. I leave it to your audience to judge.
Even your senior Prabharis of Uttar Pradesh were taken off. I remember Jyotiraditya Scindia at that time was the Prabhari of Western UP and he was not allowed on that truck Only the Gandhis were on it, and so was Rehan Rajiv Gandhi. So how can you say that the teenager is not in politics? He's getting ready to be the next generation of the Gandhis. That's what the dynamic.
Viewers, hang on, let me just step in because I'm running out of time here. Viewers, look, at the end of the day, our politics and the lexicon that politicians borrow from is really atrocious. Someone needs to rise above this. Someone needs to be the statesperson now. We can't have invective like this, and it's only going to get worse as we get closer to the elections. I don't even know where we are going to end up. Fathers, sisters, people who are not in politics will all get dragged through the mud. That's not the way, because it will serve as a massive disincentive to any do-gooder who wants to join politics. He said this is not worth the price to pay. Viewers, think about that. This is a disservice, massive one, and two wrongs cannot make a right. Someone needs to take the high road. I'll take a short break. We'll be right back with the NewsHour.
mm एक्स्ट्रा, लंबा व्हील बेस, सेकेंड रो में ज्यादा जगह। यह है कहानी BMW 3GL की। नमस्ते टाइम्स ड्राइव फैमिली, आई एम क्रांति संभव। वेलकम टू द फर्स्ट ड्राइव रिव्यू ऑफ BMW 3 सीरीज GL यानी ग्रैंड लिमोजीन, जो ऑब्वियसली रेगुलर 3 सीरीज से ज्यादा लंबी है व्हील बेस के हिसाब से। कुछ एक चेंजेस इसमें हुए हैं, तो इस वजह से ये हम वीडियो कर रहे हैं उन चेंजेस के बारे में बताने के लिए, और ये भी जानने के लिए कि जो दावा है कंपनी का सेकेंड रो में ज्यादा आराम का, ज्यादा स्पेस का, वो दावा पूरा हो पा रहा है या नहीं। सो बिफोर आई स्टार्ट टॉकिंग अबाउट दिस कार, सबसे पहले टाइम्स ड्राइव के बारे में आपसे बात करता हूं या अपील करता हूं। अभी तक अगर आपने सब्सक्राइब नहीं किया है तो प्लीज सब्सक्राइब कीजिए हमारे चैनल को, और सोशल मीडिया पर बाकी जो भी हैंडल्स हैं वहां पर टाइम्स ड्राइव के नाम से आप सर्च करें, उसे भी फॉलो करें। लेटेस्ट खबरें आपको मिलेंगी, और timesdrive.in है हमारा वेबसाइट, वहां पर तो लेटेस्ट खबरों के अलावा डिस्काउंट्स और जो स्पाई पिक्स हैं, आने वाली गाड़ियां हैं, उन सब के बारे में खबरें मिलेंगी। तो लेट्स स्टार्ट दिस स्टोरी। हम बात करते हैं BMW 3GL की। क्रांति संभव रिपोर्टिंग फ्रॉम द सेकंड रो ऑफ BMW 3GL। आमतौर पर ये वाला हिस्सा स्टोरी में बाद में आता है, लेकिन जब यूएसपी यही है तो फिर व्हाई नॉट स्टार्ट द स्टोरी विद दिस। और यहाँ पे सबसे पहली चीज जो मैं देख पा रहा हूँ उसमें कुछ बताने की जरूरत भी नहीं है। आई एम 6'3", बावजूद इसके लेग रूम, नी रूम आप देख सकते हैं कितनी ज्यादा मुझे यहाँ पर मिल रही है, यानी बहुत ज्यादा आरामदेह आपको ये एक्स्ट्रा जो व्हील बेस है, एक्स्ट्रा जो इसका लेंथ है, वो आपको सेकेंड रो में देने वाला है। काफी ज्यादा एक्स्ट्रा आराम स्पेस के हिसाब से। और दूसरी चीज जो मुझे खास लग रही है, थाई सपोर्ट काफी आगे तक है, इसका बेंच जो है काफी ब्रॉड है, तो वहां पे आप लंबी दूरी पर काफी आरामदेह तरीके से जा सकते हैं। एवरेज इंडियन हाइट के लिए तो ये जगह काफी है, लेकिन ये जगह एडिक्वेट होगी, क्योंकि मेरी हाइट के लिए अगर मैं कहूँ तो यहाँ पर अगर मैं थोड़ा सा अपराइट बैठूं तो यहाँ पर ये मेरा सर टच कर रहा है, बट अगेन आई एम नॉट एवरेज इंडियन हाइट, थोड़ा सा मैं ज्यादा लंबा हूं। तो ओवरऑल स्पेशियस, कंफर्टेबल मुझे लग रही है 2 लोगों के लिए खास तौर पर, और वैसे 3 लोगों की भी जगह है, लेकिन यहाँ पर ये जो हिस्सा है बैकरेस्ट, वहां पर आपको आर्मरेस्ट मिलेगा, यहाँ पर फोन वगैरह या टैबलेट वगैरह रखने की जगह है, और प्लस 2 कप होल्डर्स आपको यहाँ पर, या बॉटल होल्डर्स आई गेस कप होल्डर्स, वो आपको देखने को यहाँ मिल रहे हैं। ओवरऑल जो फील है वो काफी सॉलिड है, जो फिनिश है काफी प्रीमियम है, जो क्वालिटी है वो काफी प्रीमियम आपको देखने को मिल रहा है। और यहाँ पर एसी वेंट अगर हम देखें तो यहाँ 3 जोन क्लाइमेट कंट्रोल आप समझ सकते हैं, क्योंकि यहाँ पर अलग से आप अपने पैसेंजर सीट के लिए, रेयर सीट के लिए अलग टेम्परेचर जोन आप यहाँ सेट कर सकते हैं, वो कंट्रोल दिया गया है। साथ में 2 सी टाइप के पोर्ट्स भी आपको देखने को मिल रहे हैं। सो फीचर के हिसाब से, आराम के हिसाब से, स्पेस के हिसाब से सेकेंड रो is very practical, and I think this is the USP of this car. Gandhi Samar reporting from the first row of or driver seat of BMW 3GL. और यहाँ सबसे पहली चीज जिसके बारे में बात करना चाहूंगा वो है ये पूरा स्क्रीन का सेटअप। जो शेप है उसका हल्का सा कर्व्ड आपको ड्राइवर साइड की तरफ या ड्राइवर सेंट्रिक थोड़ा सा ये ज्यादा लग रहा है, बहुत ज्यादा नहीं बट या यू फील कि हाँ आपकी तरफ ये मुड़ा हुआ है। सो ये कर्व इसकी बनावट है। यहाँ पर एक स्क्रीन है जो पूरी तरह से डिजिटल इंस्ट्रूमेंटेशन आपको नजर।
Stories on the show tonight, viewers.
No respite for Delhi Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia in Liquorgate. The CBI has summoned Kejriwal's number 2 on February 26th. Showdown was witnessed inside Uttar Pradesh Assembly as opposition raised slogans against caste census. DMK peddles hate against Brahmins via satirical cartoons which depicts Brahmins boasting about Shudra atrocities.
हमारे साथ मौजूद हैं मोहुल, who is founder and CEO of Matter. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
So Mohul, we've already seen this bike. I still don't know what you guys going to call it right now, but hopefully, we're going to know about it in a couple of months, I believe, and more details that we already know about specifications and what you are offering with this bike. But उसके अलावा कुछ और चीज़ें हैं जिनकी डिटेल्स अभी आनी बाकी हैं। So इस बाइक को लेकर थोड़ा टाइमलाइन, इफ यू कैन एक्सप्लेन किस तरह का टाइमलाइन रहने वाला है एंड कब इसका ऑफिशियली लॉन्च आप करने वाले हैं?
Definitely. So first thing is at the Auto Expo we have also showcased the 6 kilowatt version of the bike. So at launch we had a 5 kilowatt version. Now we also have a 6 kilowatt version of the bike. And in terms of timeline, in the next 30 days we will be giving out the spec variants and pricing to the larger market. We will be opening up bookings for the Matter motorbike this quarter, and deliveries summer में शुरू हो जाने वाली है।
शुरू हो जाएंगी। So एक चीज़ जो बहुत ही टेक्नोलॉजी का इंटरेस्टिंग है इस बाइक के बारे में, इसमें गियर है। इलेक्ट्रिक बाइक होने के साथ साथ इसमें वो आइस वाला आपने एसेंस और बहुत बड़ा एसेंस इसमें बचा के रखा है। सो वो कैसे आपने उस पर काम किया एंड हाउ डिड यू थॉट अबाउट दिस कि ये अगर हम इसमें इंक्लूड कर पाते हैं गियर शिफ्ट वाला पैटर्न, सो वो कैसे स्टार्ट हुआ? वो
So when we in 2019 when we were starting out, we spoke to a lot of consumers कि electric bike क्यों नहीं खरीदते। In 2019 there were only a handful of players who were giving motorcycles as a product, and what we realized is कि motorcycling is emotion driven. You name your bike, you work with it, you control it, you become one with your bike, and from there the common theme came, control नहीं मिल रहा, feel नहीं आ रही, and obviously once we started translating कि हमें क्या सुनाई दे रहा है और कस्टमर को क्या चाहिए, and we've spoken to over 500 customers on this. Clear indication, gear तो चाहिए, and that's when we said कि let's make something that the consumers truly want. ऐसा नहीं कि जो टेक्नोलॉजी है उसी को वापस पैकेज करके दे देते हैं, let's make it. तो वहाँ से when the journey started, we had to make our own motors. We had to make the gearboxes, the batteries, the electronics, the entire vehicle from scratch.
And nobody would have, I believe, nobody would have thought of जितने भी EVs, two wheelers इंडिया में अब आ रहे हैं, ये गियर वाला किसी ने, I think
we are the first in India to have actually put gears on a electric bike or an electric two wheeler.
So I mean ये एक चीज़ है जो स्टैंड आउट करती है मैटर को बाकी सभी EVs या और भी जो ब्रांड्स ऑलरेडी मौजूद हैं मार्केट में। इसके अलावा आई हैव सीन वहाँ पे एक कॉन्सेप्ट खड़ा है एंड देयर इज वन कॉन्सेप्ट ओवर देयर एंड दिस वन आई रियली लव इट राइट नाउ। आई होप ये जिस शेप में है एटलीस्ट 70-80% इसका ये शेप वैसे का ही जब फाइनली प्रोडक्शन वर्जन में देखने को मिलेगा।
डेफिनेटली।
सो इन दोनों को लेके आपका क्या प्लान है एंड व्हाट उसका पर्पस क्या है, इसका पर्पस क्या है, यू कैन प्लीज।
सो डेफिनेटली, सो while the Matter motorbike sits in the 150-200 cc range of vehicle, we wanted to, in line with our vision of accelerating India to electric, we also wanted to create mass market products, and that is where, let's call it the sub 150 cc because exact cc to electric powertrain.
Right now you're calling this EXC concept.
This is the concept EXC. So the concept EXC and the concept UT both are built on the same platform. Both come with swappable batteries. Both can be so both are very flexible platforms which allow you to accessorize it a lot, change it to the
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Attacks and counter-attacks are inevitable in political discourse. It's by default that the opposition has to target the ruling dispensation over policies and decisions most of the time. But does it really have to be personal? Does it warrant dragging in the parents of any political leader, least of all the Prime Minister of the country, just to make a point? I think many of you will disagree. But it seems that the Congress party has a different point of view altogether. The man behind the Congress's media campaign stoked a massive controversy, attacking Modi Sarkar for not ordering a JPC probe into the Adani question and controversy. Pawan Khera, head of the media cell of the Congress party, took a swipe at the Prime Minister, saying that while his middle name is Damodar Das, he acts like Gautam Das, hinting at the real and very, very literal translation that he acts like a slave of Gautam Adani. Listen in to this reaction from February 17th. And ladies and gentlemen, not just the words, also the body language, the smile is what you must pay attention to. Listen in.
यदि जेपीसी बैठा सकते थे तो नरेंद्र गौतम दास दामोदर दास मोदी को क्या प्रॉब्लम है? गौतम दास है दामोदर दास सॉरी, नाम भले दामोदर दास है, काम गौतम दास का करते हैं. That's true.
Sensing that his remarks could lead to a blowback, Pawan Khera attempted to douse the fire, giving "I got confused" defense as he tweeted. And he tweeted, and I quote, "I genuinely got confused about whether it is Damodar Das or Gautam Das." But you saw the body language, ladies and gentlemen. He said Gautam Das, then he turned and he looked at his colleagues and said, "Oh, Damodar Das," and then came back and he says, "Naam Damodar Das, Kaam Gautam Das," which means that in the first place, there wasn't a mistake that happened. And then the smile, and then the tweet. But today, the BJP decided that they were not going to let it pass uncontested, and they came out all guns blazing, raining fire on the Gali gang. Home Minister Amit Shah led this attack back on the Congress party and said that Rahul and company will get the result of its negative and vicious campaign in the 2024 polls. Let me remind you, this is not the first time when Prime Minister Modi has been at the receiving end of the opposition's diatribe. From Dangewala to Maut Ka Saudagar to Neech to Gandhi Nali Ka Keeda, I mean, you name it, and those words, objectionable words, which we wouldn't even use in our normal discourse, the opposition has made its own hate book for Prime Minister Modi. Listen in to the unsparing attack by Home Minister Amit Shah and senior BJP leaders.
जिस प्रकार की भाषा का प्रयोग होता है, मैं इसकी घोर निंदा करता हूं. आज ही कांग्रेस के प्रवक्ता ने मोदी जी के लिए जिस प्रकार की भाषा का प्रयोग किया है, मैं तो समझ रहा हूं ये बात कांग्रेस के प्रवक्ता की नहीं है, ये बात कांग्रेस के नेता राहुल गांधी के स्वभाव के अनुकूल है और जिस प्रकार की भाषा आज इस्तेमाल की गई है और देश भर से जनता में से जिस प्रकार के रिएक्शन आ रहे हैं, आप 24 का नतीजा देखिएगा। राहुल जी, कांग्रेस पार्टी दूरबीन लेकर ढूंढने से भी नहीं मिलेगी।
This is not the first time that the Congress has targeted the Prime Minister personally. In the past, they have attacked him for his humble background, for his caste, for his poor origins, and today again, by dragging his dead father, who had nothing to do with politics, they have hit a new low. Somewhere the Congress is not able to digest the fact that a person from an ordinary family who's worked his way up in public life is today a popular Prime Minister who's regarded all over the world. It's perhaps time that the Congress gets used to this reality and not take political discourse to this low.
Well, questions to the Prime Minister, question to the government on policies is certainly within the right of the opposition. But the BJP today asks, why is there a visceral hatred for the Prime Minister who has always put Jan Seva above himself even when it comes to personal loss? Just recall, a few months ago, soon after performing the last rites of his mother on the 30th of December, the Prime Minister was back on his kartavya of Jan Kalyan, launching developmental projects in West Bengal via video conferencing. Well, this is neither the first time and possibly not the last time when the Prime Minister will be attacked or insulted. And therefore it brings me to the legitimate question on the NewsHour tonight. Is this the Mohabbat ki Rajniti Rahul Gandhi was preaching in his Bharat Jodo Yatra? That's the question and that's the debate. Congress Gautam Das Bar. That's the hashtag and the debate coming up on the other side.
You're watching the NewsHour at 9. Debate number 1 on Times Now. Super Prime Time.
And joining me tonight on the NewsHour, Gautam Bhatia, national spokesperson of the BJP, Dr. Anand Ranganathan, author, joins me live. Mr. R. Rajagopalan, senior journalist, joining the NewsHour after a long time. Vivek Bansal, leader of the Congress. Ravi Srivastav, political analyst. Ashutosh, senior journalist, all joining me on the NewsHour panel tonight. But my first question goes to Mr. Vivek Bansal. And Mr. Vivek Bansal, I want to ask you, I mean, nobody can contest the fact that the opposition has the right to question the government, question the Prime Minister, put the government on the mat, question the policies. You have all the right in the world. But why would you stoop down to even name calling and bringing in the late father of the Prime Minister? Is there no respect for the office of the Prime Minister, number one? Number two, why would you fake an apology and say, oh, I was confused, when, these days the camera catches everything. It doesn't just capture your words, it captures your expressions, your body language, and everybody knows that this was a deliberate mistake, if you want to call it that. And number three, I want to ask you, मोहब्बत की दुकानें खोल रहे थे ना आप, भारत जोड़ रहे थे ना आप, ये क्या भारत ऐसे जुड़ता है? विवेक बंसल जी.
Navika ji, I think you are taking too much into the meaning of what he said. Let me first of all go into the basics of it, that definitely he must have said, and why don't you give him the benefit of doubt, particularly seeing to the fact that after that he apologized. Secondly, aren't we missing wood for the trees? He had been asking, the opposition had been asking for the JPC, which had been consistently being denied, which is a issue pertaining to the common investor of this country. I think this is a bigger issue, or this is a bigger issue definitely. Nobody would like to insult the present Prime Minister for that matter. And when you come to say that Congress is in the habit of passing insinuations or diatribes at the opposition, at the ruling dispensation, or the Prime Minister who's at the helm, let me just remind you what the BJP had been doing with our leader, casting all our aspersions, calling him names, Mr. Rahul Gandhi, time and again. Our Prime Minister also indulging into that, calling him Rajkumar and things like that, which does it behove him for that matter? And seeing to the, aren't we taking it a bit too far that our spokesperson says something, it's an inadvertent mistake. You are saying that camera captures everything. Definitely camera captures, but we have to, at the same time, the person who is being taken at the dock, he has apologized. But once the apology is there, I don't think there is much room left for that. Here, and particularly, again, I would like to insist and ask all the panelists and you as well, why there has been a lot of hue and cry on this issue that Gautam Adani and what had been happening. I'm not going by what the foreign investors are saying. Definitely, they are not there to pass any judgments. This is an internal matter. And but at the same time, when in a democracy, in a healthy democracy, the opposition is insistent on that. I would like to take back their behavior when they happen to be in the opposition and something of this sort had happened. What would be what had been their reaction? So what is sauce for the goose is sauce for the gander.
All right. So I'm getting it all wrong. Apology has been made. I'm reading it wrong, and camera, well, let's not pay attention to the camera. And well, this has happened in the past. Rajkumar is equal to calling somebody Gautam Das. Dr. Anand Ranganathan, let me get a non-partisan view on this before I get on to Gaurav Bhatia to answer the Adani controversy questions that have been raised by Vivek Bansal. But I want to ask you, do you go with Mr. Vivek Bansal's defense that Rajkumar bulate hain, to humne Gautam Das keh diya, what's the big deal? And what's, the tweet of...
I did not want to repeat this word, but Pappu had been time and again used against our leader by BJP leaders. So that you can just pass it off. That's a very respectful...
All right. Dr. Anand Ranganathan, पप्पू बुलाते हैं, राजकुमार बुलाते हैं, तो हमने अगर गौतम दास बुला दिया तो what's the big deal? Please respond to Mr. Vivek Bansal.
I'm afraid, Navika, good evening first of all. I'm afraid my good friend Mr. Bansal's defense out here is as thin as sambar made by a Punjabi, if you permit me. But you know, the fact of the matter is, if Narendra Modi took a rupee for every time he was abused, slandered, vilified and maligned by the Congress, he'd be a billionaire by now, possibly richer than Adani. Look, he has been called Neech, Nali ka Keeda, Hitler, mass murderer, Khoon ki kheti karne wala, Yamraj, Pagal Kutta, Bandar, Bhasmasur. His mother and father have been dragged in and insulted. Remember Congress's Imran Masood, who threatened to chop Modi in pieces, boti kar dunga. Remember Congress leader Nillai Kannan lamenting, why quote, Modi and Shah have not yet been killed. So this crass jibe by Khera pales in comparison. Look, this is not the first time either that Modi has been accused of corruption and criminality. Remember, grave allegations were made against Modi by Rahul Quattrochi Gandhi on the issue of Rafale. The media chipped in to help Rahul Quattrochi Gandhi by cropping out defense minister signatures from official documents and claiming there were kickbacks in Rafale authorized by the highest level. What came of it all? The Supreme Court disagreed with Rahul Quattrochi Gandhi and vindicated Modi. In the case of Adani, Navika, these male au pairs of Rahul Quattrochi Gandhi who are denigrating Adani enterprises and deriving vicarious pleasure in 100 billion worth of investor wealth wiped out, do not even realize that Congress-ruled states like Chhattisgarh and Rajasthan are invested massively in Adani to the tune of 80,000 crores. Mines, power plants, airports, you name it. So, dear dynasty doormats, if you think Adani is immoral and unethical, then till such time he is investigated as you are demanding him to be. Proprietary demands that you cancel all the projects you have given him in Rajasthan and Chhattisgarh. Why have you not done it? Ask yourself and ask Rahul Quattrochi Gandhi that question.
Now Rahul, now Mr. Ratnagar, this address of Rahul Gandhi, does it reflect your respect or in any way your decency or nicety?
Now there you go. He has been trapped.
No, he has not. Don't get away with this. Don't get away with this.
Him fair and square.
By no standards.
When you are giving your defense,
you cannot absolve yourself. This is highly disrespectful, and I disapprove of it.
To whom? To
misdemeanor of it.
I agree, and Dr. Anand Ranganathan was displaying to you, because you just said that it's not a big deal. Unhone kaha tha aur unhone, there's no need to make such a big deal about it, because the spokesperson has issued an apology, and there you go. आपको बुरा लग सकता है, तो प्रधानमंत्री को भी तो बुरा लग सकता है, my friend. The Prime Minister can also feel hurt. I would feel hurt if my father's name would be distorted. Well, the Prime Minister has been quiet. I wouldn't be if somebody distorted my father's name, and I want to bring it.
Prime Minister, people are answering that, and they are quite.
Navika, please. Mr. Bansal, please allow me. Mr. Bansal, please allow me. Please allow me. You are a very dear person. Now, please let me. You see, nobody. No, please listen to me. Please, Mr. Bansal, please. As far as abusing Narendra Modi is concerned, I gave you many examples. First apologize for calling him Rahul, for distorting the name of Mr. Rahul Gandhi. First apologize, Anand. You were making a point, fine, but even in making a point, let's not go so far. So, if anybody's, you're not somebody to stand on ego. Just apologize. It's a bad taste. Of course, if anybody's sentiments are hurt, including the Quattrucci families, I apologize. Now, can I please say something? Which is that if you are directly abusing a person, khoon ki kheti, maut ka sadaugar, neech, bhasmasur, that's fine. The problem is that the problem is to his father. That is the issue. And now when I replied in kind, you are offended, you are insulted.
Are you speaking as a BJP spokesperson? Are you speaking as a BJP spokesperson?
Why should I speak as anybody's spokesperson? Why should I?
Anybody can
Prime Minister.
Mr. Vivek Bansal. No. Nobody has to be the BJP. Mr. Vivek Bansal, that's the problem. Sahi or galat. The sahi or galat, right and wrong is right and wrong, whether it is for the BJP, whether it is for the citizen, whether it is for the citizen of a country. So I object to your calling anybody a BJP spokesperson just because they are saying कि galat baat is galat baat. What is right is right, what is wrong is wrong, and this was possibly avoidable.
And to say call a spade, there is a way of saying things. The way he's just letting it go on all cylinders. I don't think that is highly.
Did you just get a phone call from the High Command?
Well, that apart, Gaurav Bhatia, Mr. Gaurav Bhatia, if Mr. Vivek Bansal is saying that there is a pattern to this, then there is a pattern to the attacks on the Prime Minister as well. I mean, if somebody as senior as the party president, Congress party president can call the Prime Minister 100 sir wala Ravan, to baki bacha hi kya hai? What is left to the imagination? He calls the Prime Minister Ravan, somebody calls him a Gandhi Nali ka Kida, and Mr. Vivek Bansal is here standing on niceties saying that, he has apologized. Do you think it cuts any ice, Gaurav Bhatia? उनके पिताजी का नाम तो नहीं खराब किया, that's the saving grace. That's the saving grace.
मतलब you can पिताजी का नहीं लिया, but you are justified in calling the Prime Minister any name.
Can I respond now, Navik?
No. Okay, Gaurav Bhatia is responding.
First of all, Navika, I would only say this, that no matter how much the Congress party abuses the revered Prime Minister, he remains an inspiration for 1 billion plus people. He is idolized by 1 billion plus people. Narendra Modi ji is one of the tallest leaders in the world today. Nobody can take away from the fact that he made a very humble beginning, and yet he rose high to man the most important constitutional office. And I would like to say that हिंदी में कहा जाता है ना नाविका, अगर आसमान की तरफ देखकर थूकोगे तो क्या होगा ये हम सब जानते हैं. But my worry, like any other Indian, is this. Amit Shah ji very rightly said, the more you abuse the revered Prime Minister of the country, the people of the country respond to you and they ensure that you are decimated, that you become extinct, and that is exactly what is happening with the Congress party. You remember 2014, Mani Shankar Iyer, he stated, चाय वाला कभी देश का प्रधानमंत्री नहीं हो सकता है. चाय वाला अगर ईमानदार हो तो देश का प्रधानमंत्री हो सकता है. 2019, ये खून दलाली कर रहे हैं, सेना के जवानों के खून की दलाली. 2019, the people responded. Narendra Modi ji again elected as the Prime Minister. Then came Gujarat. You very rightly said, खड़गे जी said, 100 सर वाला रावण. किसी ने कहा झूठों का सरदार. What was the outcome? 156 seats. Historic landmark victory never ever achieved in Gujarat. This is what, when you abuse a person who is idolized by a billion plus people, this is the consequence of it. But coming to the more serious point, Pawan Kheda is the spokesperson of the party and he's a habitual offender, and I don't think anybody has cited this example, but I would like to cite. There was a debate that was going on before the 2019 elections, and he addressed the elected Prime Minister as Modi means Masood, Osama bin Laden, Dawood and ISI. Was he sacked from the party? No. You know the reason? Because the master also is a habitual offender, and Pawan Kheda is a pygmy who is doing all this under the instructions of the Gandhi Parivar and the Khalges. And Rahul Gandhi himself is a habitual offender. I will not say anything to Rahul Gandhi today because I want to show what a party with a difference is. But Rahul Gandhi had said, for Narendra Modi ji, log inhe dande se marenge. 1. 2. He said Chaukidar chor hai. Later he apologized before the Honorable Supreme Court of India. And I have already referred to the example कि जवानों के खून की दलाली कर रहे हैं. It clearly reflects the sick mindset of the Congress party that when they can't match the leadership of Narendra Modi ji, the ideology of the Bharatiya Janata Party and the organizational skill of Shri JP Nadda ji, they resort to such cheap petty politics which will ensure that they become extinct even before we all expected them to.
Well, so let me ask Ashutosh ji. Ashutosh ji, you heard Pawan Kheda, and I don't even want to get into how many times the Prime Minister has been called names. I just want to ask you, you're a journalist, so you would look at words and you would also look at smiles and body language. आपको लगता है कि ये गलती से कहा था? Was this by mistake?
See, Ravika, I'm not Pawan Kheda, so obviously I can't answer the question whether he did it with intent or without any intent. But the fact of the matter is,
why you are a journalist and you have an opinion and आप देखते हैं, आपका opinion होगा, आप भाग क्यों रहे हैं? Why don't you want to call a spade a spade?
After being in politics for some time, I am wiser now. So let me say this. I think it was.
Am I talking to a politician? Am I talking to a politician or am I talking to a senior journalist? First, I want your disclosure on that.
You're talking to a journalist who was in politics and now he has got grey hair. Now I've got a grey hair.
Okay, so if I'm talking to a journalist, if I'm talking to a journalist, I would like the journalist to be upfront and frank and not play around with words like politicians. Please be upfront. Call a spade if you're a journalist.
जो कुछ भी पवन खेड़ा ने कहा, अगर जहां पे वो रुक जाते तो शायद बात बन जाती, जब उन्होंने कहा कि नहीं आई एम सॉरी, बट उसके बाद जो सेंटेंस का उन्होंने इस्तेमाल किया, वो दैट्स इन अ बैड स्पिरिट. वो एक्सेप्टेबल नहीं है और वो एक राजनीतिक पार्टी के प्रवक्ता से हम उम्मीद भी नहीं करते हैं, और उन्होंने ग्रेसफुली माफी मांग लेनी चाहिए कि हमसे गलती हो गई. लेकिन इस पूरे जो बातचीत है, इसके 3 एंगल है. पहली बात यह है कि इस देश की the politics in this country has become so bad that every political party and every spokesperson, whether he belongs to the Congress party or the BJP, they are using bad language and including my friends over here in the TV panels. And personalized attacks to any extent is become the grammar of today's conversation. That's a sad part of it, because I remember who said Jersey cow, and who was the man who said it about Sonia Gandhi. If today it's taken badly, then Jersey cow for a woman is seriously something which should not have been uttered. Other Rahul Gandhi was called as a Jersey as a hybrid bacha.
Can I respond?
Manmohan Singh was called as a Shikhandi by a very top BJP leader. So let's not get into that. Who said that? Shashi Tharoor's wife was used. Some words were used. Let's not get into that. The fact of the matter is, I think we are also disrespecting our Prime Minister Narendra Modi. We are also not believing that he is not charismatic and he wins election because somebody has called him Neech or somebody has called him Ravan. If that is, then that is the way we are trying to assess our Prime Minister popularity. Unfortunately, Mr. Narendra Modi is the most popular leader. He is the most charismatic leader this country has produced since Indira Gandhi. And he got, in 2014, he became the Prime Minister, not because of anybody else, but because people wanted him to become the Prime Minister. So if we are building a narrative that because Madhishankar Ayers called him a Neech, that's why he won election, I think we are disrespecting our Prime Minister. Let's not get into that. About other things, I think all the political parties should get more intelligent and should realize that this is not taking us anywhere. This is not taking anywhere. And finally, I think it was a bad day for Anand because he wanted to make Adani as the main issue today. But
Gaurav Bhatia is responding for Ashutosh ji. Ashutosh ji, may I be allowed to say about a friend and a journalist that you're more of a politician than you are a journalist even today. Remnants of the politician in you.
But he was a more successful journalist than he was a politician.
Pura journalist ho jayega.
Like Gaurav Bhatia, sometimes when he speaks like a lawyer. So obviously it is there, na? How can he get away from that?
Acha. Gaurav Bhatia, respond to the points made by Mr. Ashutosh before I get in Mr. Rajagopalan.
Yes. I was listening to my dear friend journalist Ashutosh, and I was really mesmerized when he said such words being used for the Prime Minister are very derogatory and should be condemned, was the essence of his line. And then from being mesmerized, I was traumatized when he started justifying it by giving other examples. And it made me think that, the politician in Ashutosh Bhai is still alive. But to Ashutosh, I want to tell you, you remember who started this all? Maut Ka Saudagar by Sonia Gandhi in 2007. Maut Ka Saudagar. And you all would also recall that Gujarat, when it was going through what happened there, Supreme Court giving a clean chit, but still trying to use abusive words for Narendra Modi ji. That cannot be justified. But my point is very simple, and I am sure Ashutosh would also concur with me, that so far Pawan Kheda has not apologized. I've seen his tweet, and he has just said that it was by mistake. That is not an apology. Rather, when I cite the example and he calling Modi ji Masood, Osama, Dawood and ISI, I think is most condemnable, and it clearly reflects the mindset of the Congress party today, because Kharge ji, who is a remote control president, would not have the courage to even sack Pawan Kheda or to tell Rahul Gandhi that you cannot use derogatory terms for the elected Prime Minister of the country. And I will only say, and this is a couplet which will actually give the reality of today's politics, and it applies to Modi ji. जो मुखालफत करते हैं मैं उनका बड़ा एहतराम करता हूं. जो मुखालफत करते हैं मैं उनका बड़ा एहतराम करता हूं. मुखालफत से मेरी शख्सियत निखरती है. And this is Modi ji. Every time you abuse him, he performs even better. He lives up to his name, and he shows the people of the country what an ideal leader and a Prime Minister should be.
Navika, just 10 seconds.
Well, so let me get in, Mr. Okay.
Navika,
okay,
10 seconds. Just 10 seconds. See, Even if the Sonia Gandhi has used Maut Ka Saudagar, does it behove Mr. Narendra Modi to call Sonia Gandhi a woman as a jersey cow? Does it behove Narendra Modi as a chief minister to call Rahul Gandhi a hybrid bacha? Does it? If that is the answer, then I have no quarrel with him. I have absolutely no quarrel. And then, no. I'm just saying. If
you are not a political representative. Okay, Ashutosh, let me answer that. Ashutosh, I will answer that. Ashutosh, I will answer that.
Let me complete.
See, I will answer that. Ashutosh,
it doesn't end here.
Ashutosh.
Let me complete.
Okay, go ahead.
It doesn't end here.
Go ahead.
Very recently, Rajiv Gandhi was called after his death, the corrupt number one. I can understand that Narendra Modi has been abused. There is no doubt about it. Certainly, there is no doubt about it. All political parties and leaders have done it. But does it behove to Mr. Narendra Modi as a chief minister to retaliate in the same quiet? I don't think so. That's not. It should be done. So, if you are using the same word, I think you are belittling yourself. That's my only answer. Sonia Gandhi has belittled herself by calling Maut Ka Saudagar, and Mr. Narendra Modi is also belittling herself.
Well, we've been over that, but Ashutosh ji, Maut Ka Saudagar से शुरू हुआ था. पहल किसने की, किसने बाद में बोला, that is not the point. The point is, and we are not even discussing all of that in the past, but to come and talk about somebody's name, somebody's father, and make a joke out of it. And that's when I come back to the point कि अगर आपके से गलती से हो गया, आपने apology दे दी, matter ends there. But was it a mistake or was it deliberate? And I keep coming back to that point. I'm not going into the past. Let's say that the past, everybody's been, violating this. But to come to somebody's parents, somebody's father's name, late father's name, and Rajagopalanji, that is the question I'm raising. Is it deliberate? Was there an apology? And does this really show a new law because somebody's father's name, a late father's name, is dragged through mud, which is most unfortunate?
Navika, before the Chief Justice Navika, not anchor Navika, I take oath of affirmation that my avocation has been journalist, never been in politics.
But you are more politician than me.
But you have been in politics, Ashutosh. You did politics during journalism.
My apology, sir.
Okay. So now come to the point. Pawan Khera did it intentionally. Pawan Khera did it deliberately. The reason being, within the 7 minutes of the tweet, you see the tweet tagline. First, he made a joke. He asked the person who is seated with him whether it is the name or right name or wrong name, and he did everything. That the video speaks 1,000 words more than his intentions. But my apprehension is, as a journalist, I say, he was afraid of Enforcement Directorate questioning. That is why he withdrew that. Instead of saying that because of Delhi liquor scam, there are needles of suspicion against some Congress leaders. Once it comes there, it should not hog on him. Apart from that, Gaurav Bhatia said about many things. Anand Ranganathan said, but same Rahul Gandhi also said, Narendra Modi is surrender Modi. Can you believe that? How can he call Narendra Modi as a surrender Modi? And second thing, Pawan Khera has forgotten 250 crores of Indians got anti-corona vaccination. 25,000 Ukraine students have been brought back to India with Narendra Modi. If his father was Gautam Adani, or as Pawan Khera was heckling Narendra Modi's parentage, he will get in 2024 the same Pawan Khera who resigned from Congress, who tweeted that he was not given Rajya Sabha. If you remember, same Pawan Khera will meet the Waterloo in 2024, as Amit Shah said.
And that's the point. Ravi Srivastava ji, I thought the Congress was turning a new leaf when they did their Bharat Jodo Yatra. And it's commendable that Rahul Gandhi, walked from Kanyakumari to Jammu Kashmir. I thought he was carrying a message that there would be the beginning of a different kind of politics. a new identity for the Congress party. Bygones will be bygones. A new chapter, a new vision and a new statement would be made to the people of India, so that people of India who had rejected the Congress in several elections would see a change and then, move towards the Congress party. And what does the statement today really show? Has this entire yatra been undone? Is it the same Congress? Is it old wine in old bottles that is being offered to the public by the Congress party?
Thank you very much. Last but not least, for giving me an opportunity to speak over. And the way you have said, you decimated, Congress is getting decimated every day. Unfortunately, it does not. Now the fact is, why everybody is jumping in the chair on the remark of Pawan Khera? The entire BJP, the co-panelists, the supporters, everyone is jumping in the chair. But Prime Minister has not said even a word about it. Why? Because Prime Minister knows it. What Prime Minister has done to the opposition, what Prime Minister has said for the opposition, what he has said, misogynistic, Congress ki vidwa. What else you remark you want? So he knows it. He has been abusing and he will be abused. So that's a fact and he has to live with it. Now as far as this political turmoil and somebody losing, look, BJP should be very happy that they have got one more comment.
He has to live with it.
Because they have been...
He has to live with it, my friend. Dr. Anand Ranganathan, Ravi Srivastava is lamenting that he came in to speak the last, but he comes out and makes a statement the Prime Minister will have to live with it. Haven't they learned the lessons that the public of this country has shown them? Dr. Anand Ranganathan.
Every public figure has to live with it.
Please.
This is nothing new. And you said Quattrochi. Quattrochi was a tainted businessman. You compare Gautam Adani with that. Is he a tainted businessman? Accept it on camera now. Say it. He is a tainted businessman running all coca companies who has vanished the Indian investors' wealth by more than hundreds of $billions.
Respond, Dr. Anand Ranganathan. Respond, Dr.
First of all, I find it very amusing.
In between.
Navika, can you please, Raviji, please, you've had your chance.
By default, is a Quattrochi, right?
Navika, Raviji, you had your chance to...
Raviji, calm down. Calm down. You asked for a response. Anand Ranganathan is responding to you. Anand.
Yes, Raviji, please calm down. You've had your chance to embarrass yourself. Baki embarrassment kal kariyega. Please wait. Navika, 2 points. Navika, Raviji, please. Ravija.
Well, Ravi Srivastava, I'm running out of time and I'm lowering your fader because, you can't speak over Anand Ranganathan. You asked for a response. He's responding to you. Ab thoda dheeraj banaye rakhein. I'll lower your fader. Anand.
Thank you. Navika, as Spike Milligan said, sense of humor is no laughing matter. When people were saying there is nothing in that jibe of, that Shiv Khera made, I used a rhetoric tool. And you see how some panels are jumping like a crab on a hot griddle because they have been offended. Number 2, my good friend Ashutosh से मैं पूछना चाहूँगा इतनी hypocrisy कहाँ से लाते हो? अभी high moral ground पे पहुँच गए हैं कह रहे हैं abusing बंद करो. I remember when he was part of Aam Aadmi Party and Arvind Kejriwal said Modi is a coward and a psychopath. Ashutosh, far from condemning Kejriwal, praised him. Ashutosh, कमाल है यार, कमाल है.
Well, I'm running out of time. Ashutosh has already given a disclaimer for that. Bhai, purani baatein as a politician are different from nayi baatein as a journalist.
Fair enough.
Time and tide change and so do people change and, the question is that did the Congress party change with the Bharat Jodo Yatra? If you go by what Mr. Pawan Khera said, well, not at all. And will this be something that will just go down as one more inconsistent line with the Mohabbat ki Dukaan? We don't know. The public is watching. And what the public will say, it will say in the elections of 2024. What happens then remains to be seen. But once too many, the Congress party has crossed the Lakshman Rekha. Will it pay a price? We don't know. We'll wait and see. Thank you very much to all my panelists for joining me on debate number 1. On the other side, ladies and gentlemen, with just months remaining for Chhattisgarh polls, the political temperatures are rising in the state. Today, the Enforcement Directorate conducted searches at 10 to 12 locations, including the residences of Congress netas and MLAs as part of its investigation into the coal levy case. This comes just ahead of the Congress party's plenary in Raipur. The Enforcement Directorate had alleged that in the past few years, more than rupees 500 crores was collected as illegal levies from the coal companies, and some of the proceeds directly landed in the kitty of the Grand Old Party and its netas. Some of the names under the scanner are Soumya Chaurasia, Deputy Secretary of the Chhattisgarh Chief Minister, businessman Suryakant Tiwari and his relative Manish Upadhyay. Calling it a third-grade vendetta politics, the Congress termed that the success of the Bharat Jodo Yatra has rattled the BJP to the core, while the Saffron Party has hit back saying that the corrupt will have to face the law. Listen in to this war of words.
प्रतिशोध की राजनीति और उत्पीड़न की राजनीति का नवीनतम मिसाल आज सुबह रायपुर में देखने को मिला है। 85वां हमारा प्लीनरी अधिवेशन होने वाला है कांग्रेस पार्टी का, और 3 दिन पहले ईडी के छापे पड़े हुए हैं। छापे होने दीजिए, जहां छापे होने चाहिए वहां तो होते नहीं हैं। प्रधानमंत्री के पसंदीदा पूंजीपति गौतम अडानी के बारे में जो जानकारी निकल रही है रोज, उनके कारनामे की, सब गैर कानूनी कारनामे, उस पर तो कोई जांच नहीं होती।
भूपेश बघेल जी, जिनको छत्तीसगढ़ की जनता की सेवा करनी थी, वो कांग्रेस पार्टी के एटीएम बनकर गांधी परिवार की सेवा कर रहे हैं। और इतना ही कहेंगे, कोई भ्रष्टाचारी बख्शा नहीं जाएगा। जितना शोर हल्ला करना है कर लो।
You're watching the News Hour at 9. Debate number 2 on Times Now. Super Prime Time.
And joining Gautam Bhatia, Dr. Anand Ranganathan, Mr. Vivek Bansal is Lokesh Jindal, also of the Congress. But let me first ask Mr. Gautam Bhatia. Mr. Gautam Bhatia, you know, is it really a coincidence that all the raids that happen at the opposition party's leader? It's a question often raised by the Congress party, by the Trinamool Congress and other political parties in the opposition. Number one. Number two, these raids, when they come just ahead of the Congress plenary, there's a special plot that Mr. Jairam Ramesh has alleged the BJP has. And of course, some people say that you're extremely nervous of the Bharat Jodo Yatra's success. Which one of these three has actually been the reason for these raids, latest raids in Chhattisgarh?
So, first of all, Navika, you ask a 2-year-old child, and he would tell you the most corrupt party in India is the Congress party, and the most corrupt political parivar is the Gandhi parivar. And why do I say that? Let me substantiate. Can you name one more political family where 3 members of the family are out on bail on corruption charges? Rahul Gandhi, Sonia Gandhi and Robert Vadra. That's point number 1. 2, you are questioning the timing. I would like to ask you, we have made it very clear that CBI, ED, IT, these are not caged parrots like they used to be during the Congress era, and this I am not saying. The Supreme Court has said. Now they are independent and they take decisions regarding raids, and if these people are corrupt, then they should be behind bars, and they ought to be, because they looted the country. Third, I give a challenge to the representative from the Congress. 9 years, there have been multiple actions by the CBI, by the ED. Can they show me one judgment of the Supreme Court or the High Court which has quashed the proceedings of the CBI, the ED, of any Congress leader or a corrupt leader from the opposition? And the answer is none. And if they can show me, I think it would be a very, very worthy response from the spokesperson of a very unworthy party.
Well, Mr. Vivek Bansal, if the Enforcement Directorate is to be believed, and I'm telling you the statement that's been put out by our sources in the ED, 170 crore worth of Benami assets have been purchased, and these are under the lens. Of these, 36 crores have been transferred to Soumya Chaurasia, and she happens to be in somebody who's in the Chief Minister's office. 4 crores paid to Chhattisgarh MLAs, that's the allegation. 6 crores to ex-MLAs and other netas. 4 crores sent to Bengaluru. 277 crore total entries have been seen in the scam, and some senior politician also gets about 52 crore rupees. Now this is serious money we are talking about, and this is a serious scam if it really is proved as per the records of the Enforcement Directorate. Why would you make this into a political statement if it's an investigation that the agencies are doing?
Why not we consider it to be political? Reason being, all ED's investigations is going against the party, against Congress party only, as if all Harishchandras are in the ruling party. And let me tell Gaurav Bhatia ji, any 2 year, when you are talking about any 2 year old child, anybody can say that how ED is functioning. As far as ED cases against Gandhi family is considered, they are just to harass. Nothing has been, no strictures have been, no indictment has been there, and they would keep on hanging like that just to create pressure. And this is what is the politics of the BJP dispensation is concerned. And you are calling our party to be unworthy. Next day, earlier you used to
Gaurav Bhatia, is this just pressure tactics? You haven't really proved any cases. Robert Vadra is roaming free. The Gandhis are roaming free. There are no convictions. Question being raised by the Congress party.
Okay. Yes. Navika, first point is that I think the Congress leader is not aware that National Herald case, the Gandhi Parivar is out on bail, and they moved the Supreme Court for quashing of the complaint itself. The Supreme Court refused to quash, number one. 2, if you feel that there are any corrupt leaders in any party, nobody has stopped you from being a responsible party and a citizen. You can always ask for a CBI investigation. Why aren't you doing that? And third and most importantly, when in this case, please don't speak in between, sir. Please do not speak in between, sir. Let us respect each other. Let us wait for our turn. Please. So Navika, third point is when the ED... Okay, fine. I got your point. Sorry. Now speak. Okay, can I make my last point? Navika, my last point is this: if the ED is acting, and ED is acting against the corrupt, how is it that the Congress is in so much pain? ये रिश्ता क्या कहलाता है? ये तो जनता पूछेगी ना. अगर करप्ट पे कार्रवाई हो रही है, तो कांग्रेस पार्टी को दर्द क्यों हो रहा है? All the leaders in Raipur and in Delhi were so disturbed today, as if they've really, admitting their guilt, and that is why they are doing press conferences. Let law take its own course, and we'll see. Everything would be
point.
clear.
And I want to get in Dr. Anand Ranganathan. Dr. Anand Ranganathan, 52 crores. Absolutely, and 52 crores is said to have gone to a senior politician, and the Congress party itself, treasurers are being questioned. It's not some loose change that we are talking about. 52 crores and coal scams have happened in the past. Where is the problem? Should we just go by the fact that no political party, and let's be realistic, nobody is going to raid themselves. But even when the Congress was in power, it wasn't raiding itself, it was doing cases on others. So suddenly, why are they becoming so, holy about the fact that, the BJP is only raiding, opposition parties? 52 crores, should the matter just hang out because the government should behave well?
Navika, there are two issues here, and please give me a couple of minutes because I want to take, both are very important issues. Navika, I have said this before and I say it again. Every CBI, IT or ED raid or a survey carries the baggage of being politically motivated, unfortunately, even if it is not, even if it is entirely bona fide, because one, the investigative agencies are not apolitical or independent. They remain parrots. And when you domesticate a parrot, it finds its favorite shoulder. And right now, the shoulder is of Modi. Number two, years of trial and error have now resulted in an established recourse that those who are raided take. A, if the raided are a media house or an NGO like the BBC or Amnesty, they cry government vendetta. And B, if the raided are politicians, they simply join the BJP. From Goa to Manipur to Bengal to Karnataka, every single politician when in trouble has dipped himself into this Behti Ganga, that is the BJP. Then, miraculously, all leads go cold. All investigations come to a dead end. Remember Mukul Roy and how the investigations on him went cold when he joined the BJP?
Absolutely. Gautam Bhatia, I want a quick response from you.
I object to that.
No, I'm running out of time, Anand Ranganathan. Gautam Bhatia, respond.
Okay.
Respond.
Yes. You know, Anand Bhai is a very dear friend and he's a very eloquent speaker. I asked a very simple question to reveal the difference between the BJP and the Congress government. The difference is this, Anandji. Mulayam Singh Yadav and Mayawati, do you know that they got relief from the Honorable Supreme Court because it was found to be a case of political vendetta by the Congress party? 2G license, 122 of them actually cancelled. Colgate, 214 license cancelled. That is why I said, what you say or I say doesn't matter. What the Honorable Supreme Court says and the High Court says matters. Today, all the investigating agencies are acting fairly and independently, and this is what worries the corrupt Congress the most.
Well, the proof of the pudding will be in the eating, and we'll have to wait and watch on how these investigations actually come up with some solid results. As of now, it's a political slugfest. The BJP will have to come up with more robust explanations on why only opposition parties are being raided or questioned or investigated when absolutely no convictions have been seen in many of these political cases. On the other hand, corruption is an issue, and if there are leads of 52 crores going to politicians, well, a robust investigation is the order of the day. The rest, as they say, is all about politics that the public is maybe not interested in. We'll leave it at that. Thank you very much to all my guests, and I'm sorry, Lokesh Jindal, I couldn't come to you, but I'll make it up to you on another day. Thank you very much for joining me on the NewsHour, ladies and gentlemen. Good night and be safe.
आ चुका है पोको X5 Pro का बॉक्स टेबल पे। अब इसको जल्दी से करेंगे अनबॉक्स। ब्लैक और येलो कलर का ये बॉक्स है, जो ज्यादातर पोको के स्मार्टफोन पे आपको येलो कलर, जो इसका सिग्नेचर कलर है, वो दिखाई देगा। Sometimes it is really tricky to take the tapes off, so let me try it with my nails. One tape down successfully. गाइज, ये जो फीलिंग है ना अनबॉक्स करने वाली, ये काफी ही मजेदार लगती है। जब भी आप कोई नया गैजेट अनबॉक्स करते हैं तो मजा तो आता है। जैसे कि यहाँ देखेंगे, बॉक्स के पीछे की तरफ बहुत सारे डिटेल्स लिखे हैं, बॉक्स के बारे में फीचर्स लिखे हैं, वो दिखाएंगे और उसके बारे में बात करेंगे जब फोन हाथ में आ जाएगा। इनसाइड द बॉक्स यू गेट दिस लिटिल पेपर बॉक्स एज वेल, जिसमें ज्यादातर पेपर वर्क और प्रोटेक्टिव केस ही होता है। लाइक आई सेड, वही मिला है हमको। यहाँ पर एक छोटा सा मैनुअल टाइप है। यहाँ पर फोन को प्रोटेक्ट करने के लिए आपको मिलता है ट्रांसपेरेंट प्रोटेक्टिव केस, और साथ में सिम इजेक्टर टूल, विच इज वेरी बेसिक। अब मुझे बॉक्स के अंदर दिखाई दे रहा है हमारा डिवाइस, जिसके बारे में ये वीडियो बना रहे हैं। उफ, वेरी वाइब्रेंट एंड पेपी येलो कलर। Just like the box, the smartphone also boasts the combination of black, or call it dark grey, along with yellow. और कॉम्प्लीमेंटिंग डिजाइन आपको फ्रेम्स पर भी दिखेगा। जो कलर आपको यहाँ कैमरा मॉड्यूल पर दिख रहा है, पीछे ये जो पैच पर दिख रहा है, वही आपको उसी कलर का फ्रेम दिखाई देगा विद येलो एक्सेंट्स। वेट की बात करें तो अच्छा है, लाइट वेट है, और यहाँ पे जो येलो है दिस इज लिटिल बिट डल, नॉट एज वाइब्रेंट एज द बॉक्स और प्रॉपर येलो। वैसे तो मैट फिनिशिंग है, लेकिन ये जो कलर है इसके अंदर हल्का सा ग्लिटर आपको दिखाई देता है। फ्लैशी नहीं है, अच्छा है। इसको साइड में रखते हैं, अभी ऑन भी करेंगे और उसके बाद स्मार्टफोन के बारे में बात करेंगे। पहले देखते हैं और क्या आपको बॉक्स के अंदर दिखाई देगा। यू ऑल्सो गेट अ 67 वॉट चार्जिंग ब्रिक। I really liked how they have written 67 watt here. बहुत ही बढ़िया फॉन्ट लग रहा है, कुछ डिफरेंट देखने को मिला, वरना ज्यादातर यहाँ पर नॉर्मली लिख देते हैं 67 और 80। तो ये जो इसने हल्का सा छोटा सा अटेम्प्ट किया है विद द डिजाइन, आई रियली लाइक। साथ में आपको मिलता है टाइप सी केबल विद ऑरेंज एक्सेंट्स, जैसे कि आप यहाँ देख पा रहे होंगे। इसको भी साइड में रखते हैं and that's it, that's all you get inside the box। अब बात करते हैं स्मार्टफोन के बारे में, जरा मुझे इसे ऑन करने दीजिए। फोन को यहाँ पर सेटअप करना मैंने शुरू कर दिया है। जैसे कि आप देख पाएंगे दिस फोन रन्स ऑन MIUI 14। साथ इसको हम सेट करते रहेंगे और फोन के बारे में बात करते रहेंगे, बिकॉज यही तो सबसे ज्यादा बढ़िया पॉइंट होता है जब भी आप नया फोन सेटअप करते हैं, द फीलिंग ऑफ सेटिंग अप and shifting to a new smartphone। तो यहाँ पर इसको सेटअप कर रहे हैं। Till that time, let me talk about the display। तो यहाँ पर आपको with Poco X5 Pro मिलता है AMOLED display with the support of 120 Hz refresh rate। Basically, scrolling, animations should be smoother, क्योंकि 120 Hz अब ज्यादातर फोन्स पे स्टैंडर्ड भी हो गया है। There was a time when 90 Hz used to be the standard refresh rate, but 120 अब ज्यादातर फोन्स पे आपको
110 mm एक्स्ट्रा, लंबा व्हील बेस, सेकेंड रो में ज्यादा जगह। यह है कहानी BMW 3GL की। नमस्ते टाइम्स ड्राइव फैमिली, आई एम क्रांति संभव। वेलकम टू द फर्स्ट ड्राइव रिव्यू ऑफ BMW 3 सीरीज GL यानी ग्रैंड लिमोजीन, जो ऑब्वियसली रेगुलर 3 सीरीज से ज्यादा लंबी है। व्हील बेस के हिसाब से कुछ एक चेंजेस इसमें हुए हैं, तो इस वजह से ये हम वीडियो कर रहे हैं उन चेंजेस के बारे में बताने के लिए, और ये भी जानने के लिए कि जो दावा है कंपनी का सेकेंड रो में ज्यादा आराम का, ज्यादा स्पेस का, वो दावा पूरा हो पा रहा है या नहीं। सो बिफोर आई स्टार्ट टॉकिंग अबाउट दिस कार, सबसे पहले टाइम्स ड्राइव के बारे में आपसे बात करता हूं या अपील करता हूं। अभी तक अगर आपने सब्सक्राइब नहीं किया है तो प्लीज सब्सक्राइब कीजिए हमारे चैनल को, और सोशल मीडिया पर बाकी जो भी हैंडल्स हैं वहां पर टाइम्स ड्राइव के नाम से आप सर्च करें, उसे भी फॉलो करें। लेटेस्ट खबरें आपको मिलेंगी, और timesdrive.in है हमारा वेबसाइट। वहां पर तो लेटेस्ट खबरों के अलावा डिस्काउंट्स और जो स्पाई पिक्स हैं, आने वाली गाड़ियां हैं, उन सब के बारे में खबरें मिलेंगी। तो लेट्स स्टार्ट दिस स्टोरी। हम बात करते हैं BMW 3GL की। क्रांति संभव रिपोर्टिंग फ्रॉम द सेकंड रो ऑफ BMW 3GL। आमतौर पर ये वाला हिस्सा स्टोरी में बाद में आता है, लेकिन जब यूएसपी यही है तो फिर व्हाई नॉट स्टार्ट द स्टोरी विद दिस। और यहाँ पे सबसे पहली चीज जो मैं देख पा रहा हूँ उसमें कुछ बताने की जरूरत भी नहीं है। आई एम 6'3", बावजूद इसके लेग रूम, नी रूम आप देख सकते हैं कितनी ज्यादा मुझे यहाँ पर मिल रही है, यानी बहुत ज्यादा आरामदेह। आपको ये एक्स्ट्रा जो व्हील बेस है, एक्स्ट्रा जो इसका लेंथ है, वो आपको सेकेंड रो में देने वाला है काफी ज्यादा एक्स्ट्रा आराम स्पेस के हिसाब से। और दूसरी चीज जो मुझे खास लग रही है, थाई सपोर्ट काफी आगे तक है, इसका बेंच जो है काफी ब्रॉड है, तो वहां पे आप लंबी दूरी पर काफी आरामदेह तरीके से जा सकते हैं। एवरेज इंडियन हाइट के लिए तो ये जगह काफी है, लेकिन ये जगह एडिक्वेट होगी, क्योंकि मेरी हाइट के लिए अगर मैं कहूँ तो यहाँ पर अगर मैं थोड़ा सा अपराइट बैठूं तो यहाँ पर ये मेरा सर टच कर रहा है, बट अगेन आई एम नॉट एवरेज इंडियन हाइट, थोड़ा सा मैं ज्यादा लंबा हूं। तो ओवरऑल स्पेशियस, कंफर्टेबल मुझे लग रही है 2 लोगों के लिए खास तौर पर, और वैसे 3 लोगों की भी जगह है, लेकिन यहाँ पर ये जो हिस्सा है बैकरेस्ट, वहाँ पर आपको आर्मरेस्ट मिलेगा। यहाँ पर फ़ोन वगैरह या टैबलेट वगैरह रखने की जगह है, और प्लस 2 कप होल्डर्स आपको यहाँ पर, या बॉटल होल्डर्स आई गेस कप होल्डर्स, वो आपको देखने को यहाँ मिल रहे हैं। ओवरऑल जो फील है वो काफ़ी सॉलिड है, जो फिनिश है काफ़ी प्रीमियम है, जो क्वालिटी है वो काफ़ी प्रीमियम आपको देखने को मिल रहा है। और यहाँ पर एसी वेंट अगर हम देखें तो यहाँ 3 जोन क्लाइमेट कंट्रोल आप समझ सकते हैं, क्योंकि यहाँ पर अलग से आप अपने पैसेंजर सीट के लिए रेयर सीट
Good evening and welcome. You are watching the NewsHour agenda. I am Padmaja Joshi. The Shiv Sena UBT or Uddhav Balasaheb Thackeray has taken their fight for the Naam and Nishan, name and symbol associated with Balasaheb Thackeray and his Sena to the Supreme Court now. But even as they fight in the courts, another fight is on in the streets, where the party has not just slammed Eknath Shinde and the BJP, but has also put the Election Commission in the dock, questioning whether this entire process was carried out on the instructions of and the payroll of the BJP.
आता आपण जे म्हणालात की त्यांनी शिवसेना नाव चोरलं तरी ठाकरे नाव नाही चोरू शकत, त्याच्यामुळे एका गोष्टीत तर मी नक्कीच भाग्यवान आहे की मी बाळासाहेबांच्या आणि माच्या पोटी जन्माला आलो. ते भाग्य काही त्यांना मिळालेलं नाही, आणि ते भाग्य त्यांना दिल्लीवाले काही देऊ शकत नाहीत. तर हा सगळा विषय बघितल्यानंतर निवडणूक आयोग आत्ताचा जो आहे तो बरखास्त झाला पाहिजे, केला पाहिजे, आणि निवडणुकीच्या प्रक्रियेने निवडणूक आयुक्त नेमले गेले पाहिजेत, ही माझी शिवसेनेची मागणी आहे.
After losing the name and poll symbol, today the Sena UBT also lost their office in the Vidhan Bhavan. The BJP Shinde combine has made it clear that they will continue with their offensive against the Thackeray family scion, with speculation now being rife about whether they will also stake their claim to the Sena Bhavan and the BMC office next. But the real question facing Maharashtra now is this: will Uddhav Thackeray get any relief from the Supreme Court? And even if he does, where does this entire episode of defections, of having the name of his father's party taken away from him, leave Uddhav Thackeray as a politician and a political force in Maharashtra?
You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
All right, joining us on the debate, Sanju Verma, national spokesperson of the BJP, Shailesh Pandey and Vikram Singh Yadav, both leaders of the Shiv Sena. We'll also be joined by Rajya Sabha MP of the Shiv Sena, Priyanka Chaturvedi, in just a while. But let me start with you, Sanju Verma, because this entire sequence of events basically seems like a witch hunt. You know, first you take away their poll symbol, their name, then today you've taken away their office inside the Vidhan Bhavan. Is this personal?
Padmaja, with no offense to you, I know you do a lot of homework. You can do better than that. Are you saying this is personal vendetta? Let me just give you very quickly the chronology of events. It was on the 27th of June 2022 that Uddhav Thackeray and his, faction wrote to the then Chief Justice, Mr. Ramana, saying that, please do not have the floor test of 30th June as scheduled. First, let us have a judgment from your end on the disqualification of MLAs who abandoned me and gone to the Shinde camp. And Justice Ramana clearly said that there is no precedent to suggest that a disqualification judgment has to come before a floor test. So point number 1, don't link the disqualification judgment which is still pending in the Supreme Court with the floor test which Uddhav Thackeray never took. Today Uddhav Thackeray is cursing the BJP, crying, sulking, whining, ranting. I have one question to ask. If you were so confident of your leadership skills, why did you submit your resignation to Mr. Koshyari, the then governor, on 29th of June, just 24 hours before the scheduled floor test on 30th of June 2022? My question is, were you so scared to take the floor test because you realized that you would lose not only the floor test but even the little bit credibility that you had going for yourself at that point in time?
Let's take this one by one. शैलेश पांडे जी, अगर उद्धव जी के पास सपोर्ट था और लड़ सकते थे तो ले लेते टेस्ट, रिजाइन क्यों कर दिया?
देखिए पद्मजा जी, आज के इस माहौल में आपने जो पूछा, मुझे उस पर एक पंक्ति याद आती है कि आस्था और विश्वास की नींव हिल चुकी है और सत्य, ईमान, मानवता को बीजेपी की राजनीति निगल चुकी है। आज ये सारी जो चीज़ें हुई हैं, आप रिज़ाइन की बात कर रही हैं। अरे एक आदमी को आप अचानक वहाँ से सत्ता पलट करा देंगे, वहाँ पर विधायकों की खरीद फरोख्त कर देंगे और उसके बाद आप कहेंगे रिज़ाइन क्यों दिया। नैतिक जो उद्धव साहब एक संवेदनशील व्यक्तित्व है, वो इमोशनल व्यक्तित्व है, इसके कारण उन्होंने किया। दूसरी बात, ये सिंबल की और इसकी बात रही, इसके पहले भी बहुत सारे वाकयात हुए, लेकिन चुनाव आयोग ने इस तरह का एक तरफा निर्णय कभी नहीं दिया था। कभी भी दो पार्टियों का झगड़ा।
क्या बात कर रहे हैं? लेट्स टॉक अबाउट स्पेसिफिक, संजू वर्मा. While the matter is sub judice, while the Supreme Court has said it's a very tough constitutional question, what was the hurry? What was the hurry on part of the Election Commission?
You know, Padmaja, let's be very clear. When did Uddhav Thackeray, as I just mentioned to you, resign? He resigned on 29th June 2022, late in the afternoon. And it's now been more than 6 months, well over 6 months. So A, this judgment was not a hurried one. B, the Election Commission under Article 324, 325, 326, right up till Article 329 is well within its right to do what it did. That is to ensure that the symbol and the name, original name Shiv Sena went to the Shinde camp. Point
While
number
the matter is sub judice, while the Supreme Court is
let me tell you the most important thing. The most important thing is this. If you look at past precedents, be it the 1969 breakup of the Congress again broke up in 1971, 77, 78, 79. Since 1947, there have been 70 breakups of the original Congress. We also, let us take into account the example of Lalu Prasad Yadav's RJD, which was formed in 1997 after he split from the original Janata Dal. Let us take the case of Mamata Banerjee, who split from the Congress in 1998. And let us take the example of Sharad Pawar, who floated his own party NCP after splitting from the Congress in 1999. Look at each of these examples, specifically the breakup of Lalu Yadav from the original Janata Dal, the breakup of Trinamool Congress from the Congress party, and the breakup of Sharad Pawar to form his NCP. In each of these cases, a precedent has been set. There is nothing which can stop the Election Commission based on the material evidence at its disposal to first ensure that a split in a party is given legal sanctity.
You are giving legal precedent. You are giving legal precedent to back the Election Commission's move. The Shiv Sena, Abhishek Manu Singhvi and Kapil Sibal have argued the exact opposite. Let me get in Vikram Singh Yadav as well. Vikram Singh Yadav, क्या आपको लगता है कि इमोशनल अपील करके उद्धव ठाकरे जो काडर उनको छोड़ रहा है, छोड़ चुका है और छोड़ रहा है, उनको वापस ला पाएंगे? क्योंकि अब तो सिंबल और नाम भी चला गया।
नहीं पद्मा जी, सिंबल और ये चला जाए, देखिए इसका कोई डर नहीं है। महाराष्ट्र की जनता उद्धव जी के साथ है, ठाकरे परिवार के साथ है, और ये सब इस तरीके से जो किया है चुनाव आयोग ने, आप ये देखिए कि अगर यही फैसला देना था तो एमपी और इसके आधार पे, तो फिर बाकी चीजों के लिए चुनाव आयोग किस चीज का इंतजार कर रहा था? क्यों इतनी चीजें अब तक मांगी जा रही थी, संगठन की डिटेल दो, ये तो वो तो इतनी सारी चीजें भेजी गई, तो उनका कोई मोल ही नहीं है। आपने खाली एमपी और एमएलए के उसके बेस के ऊपर आपने फैसला सुना दिया। ये तो एक वो बात है कि आप किसी के भी कल को कोई एमएलए खरीद करके कोई भी पार्टी का अपना हक जमा लेगा। तो मैं समझता हूं ये फैसला एक राजनीतिक फैसला है, और इससे शिवसेना उद्धव ठाकरे को कोई घबराने की जरूरत नहीं है, क्योंकि महाराष्ट्र की
तो अगर शिवसेना को घबराने की जरूरत नहीं है, ये बताइए विक्रम जी, दूसरा आर्ग्यूमेंट ये है कि अगर शिवसेना को घबराने की कोई जरूरत नहीं है, उद्धव ठाकरे को घबराने की जरूरत नहीं है, तो वो मशाल के साथ लड़ क्यों नहीं लेते? उनको जो समर्थन मिल रहा है अपने नाम पे और अपनी लेगेसी पे, वो मशाल पे भी वोट पड़ जाएगा।
हाँ, तो उन्होंने कहा है, देखिए अंधेरी में उपचुनाव था, ये सिंबल तो तभी मिल गया था, तो बीजेपी तब क्यों भाग गई थी?
पर वो तो वॉकओवर था ना, बीजेपी ने तो अपना कैंडिडेट ही खड़ा नहीं किया था, वो तो ऑलमोस्ट अनकंटेस्टेड जीत गई रुजुता जी।
और अभी भी उद्धव जी ने कहा है कि आप धनुष उस बाण के साथ आओ, हम मशाल के साथ आएंगे, हम मुकाबला करेंगे। उद्धव जी ने चुनौती दी है, इसमें घबराने वाली क्या बात है?
संजू वर्मा, इट इज नॉट अबाउट द सिंबल, इट इज अबाउट द प्रिंसिपल. In fact, Uddhav Thackeray has said कि if Eknath Shinde and the BJP is so confident, why don't they form another party and fight? Let Eknath Shinde form another party.
No, let me answer that. Let's be very clear that when the initial imbroglio, this fracas started over the party symbol and the party name, what did, be it Abhishek Manu Singhvi or Kapil Sibal or even the likes of Uddhav Thackeray, what did they say? We are very confident not more than 5-10 MLAs से ज्यादा एकनाथ शिंदे के कैंप में कोई नहीं जाएगा. Majority of the MLAs are with Uddhav Thackeray. I clearly remember this. What happened? More than 40 MLAs abandoned Uddhav Thackeray, citing lack of faith in his incompetence, his poor leadership skills, and jumped over to Eknath Shinde camp. The bar was set at 37 MLAs. The anti-defection law would have applied had less than 37 MLAs jumped ship, but more than 37. 40 MLAs out of 55. Matlab 73% of Uddhav Thackeray's MLAs said we have no confidence in him and they left him due to his gross ineptitude. The anti-defection law ceased to apply. Point number one. Point number two, you went to the Bombay High Court. आप आधी अधूरी बात मत कीजिए. You went to the Bombay High Court and what did you tell the two-bench judge there? You said that let us fight at least the Andheri East bipole on our original bow and arrow symbol. The Bombay High Court also said that is not essential and is not a prerequisite to the case of disqualification pending in the Supreme Court. The Bombay High Court gave a judgment against you. The Supreme Court today dismissed your urgent petition hearing. What Kapil Sibal and Abhishek Manu Singhvi say is not the gospel truth.
शैलेश पांडे, आपको ना सिर्फ ईसी से झटका लगा है, आपको बॉम्बे हाईकोर्ट से झटका लगा है और आज सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने भी अर्जेंट हियरिंग नहीं की.
पदाधिकारी हो, उन पदाधिकारियों और शिवसैनिकों की जो एफिडेविट की संख्या है वो उद्धव साहब ठाकरे के लोगों की संख्या ज्यादा थी. संगठन पूरे महाराष्ट्र में उद्धव साहब ठाकरे के साथ है और आज आपने ये चोरी करने का काम किया है. केंद्र सरकार, चुनाव आयोग और सारी केंद्रीय एजेंसियों ने मिलकर, बीजेपी और शिंदे गठ ने मिलकर इस चोरी के खिलाफ भी महाराष्ट्र की जनता में आक्रोश है. महाराष्ट्र की जनता की जो भावना है वो इसमें आक्रोशित है और आने वाले समय में ये महाराष्ट्र की जनता आप सभी को सबक जरूर सिखाएगी.
संजू वर्मा, मोगैम्बो की तरह आपने चोरी की है.
पद्मजा जी, वो जो कहावत है ना, खिसियानी बिल्ली खंबा नोचे, आज पूरा का पूरा उद्धव ठाकरे की जो बची खुची फैक्शन है वो सब ये ना खिसियानी बिल्ली की तरह कभी अमित शाह पर पंच कस रहे हैं, कभी मोदी सरकार पर. आई हैव जस्ट दिस टू से, forget the technicalities. Technicalities के लिए सुप्रीम कोर्ट है. Whether para 15 of the election symbols order of 1968 has precedence over section 10A pertaining to disqualification, that the Supreme Court will announce its verdict. I want to ask one thing. When Uddhav Thackeray became the chief minister, it was on the back of saying, I will restore Marathi Asmita, imagining that it had been destroyed. He said, I want to carry forward the legacy of Bala Saheb Thackeray. I want to carry forward the pro-हिंदुत्व फिलॉसफी ऑफ माय लेट फादर. अरे प्रो-हिंदुत्व फिलॉसफी की तो बात छोड़िए, आपने तो सिर्फ हनुमान चालीसा पढ़ने की रिक्वेस्ट की थी नवनीत राणा ने. आपने नवनीत राणा और उनके हस्बैंड रवि राणा को लेकर जेल में डाल दिया 15 दिनों तक. शी हैड नॉट इवन रेड दी हनुमान चालीसा आउटसाइड मातोश्री. शी हैड ओनली सेड शी विल डू सो. एंड आपने पालघर साधुओं को उनकी निर्मम हत्या पर आपसे एक अपॉलॉजी तक नहीं आई.
ये सही होगा? आप किसी के घर में घुसकर हनुमान चालीसा पढ़ेंगे? हनुमान जी की चालीसा कहां पढ़ी जाती है? मंदिर में पढ़ी जाती है, अपने घर में पढ़ी जाती है, या आपको कोई बुलाए आप वहां पे पढ़िए? आप जबरदस्ती किसी के घर में हनुमान चालीसा पढ़ेंगे? और आप प्रो हिंदुत्व की बात करते हैं तो भारतीय जनता पार्टी स्वतंत्रवीर सावरकर को भारत रत्न देने की बात कह रही थी. स्वतंत्रवीर सावरकर को भारत रत्न दिया क्या आज तक आपने? हिंदू हृदय सम्राट आदरणीय बाला साहब ठाकरे को आप भारत रत्न देने वाले थे, आपने दिया क्या? आप सिर्फ हिंदुत्व का ढोंग करते हो. सिर्फ देश में एक हिंदू मुसलमान का द्वेष का भावना, राष्ट्रीय एकात्मता, राष्ट्रीय समता की एकात्मता की भावना को दूषित करने का काम कर रहे हैं.
कौन दूषित कर रहा है ये जल्दी पता चल जाएगा. नॉट जस्ट अबाउट द, इट्स अल्टीमेटली गोइंग टू बॉइल डाउन टू दिस, हु इज गोइंग टू स्टेक क्लेम टू द नेम and who will be left with the legacy and the very important constitutional question which will be addressed by the Supreme Court. I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you very much, both gentlemen, Sanju Verma, for joining me. But what really is the way forward for the Shiv Sena now as a political party, and why are they challenging now the very institution of the Election Commission? Let's find out from Member of Parliament Priyanka Chaturvedi. All right, joining us now is Priyanka Chaturvedi, a Member of Parliament in the Rajya Sabha of the Shiv Sena. Ms. Chaturvedi, I want to start by asking you, because the matter is in court, we'll come to the legal issues and what the EC has said in just a second. But a lot is being said about the image of Mr. Uddhav Thackeray on top of his car, from the sunroof of his car, addressing Shiv Sainiks on the day that the party symbol was taken away from you. Is he trying to channel the image of his father, Bala Saheb Thackeray now?
No, he doesn't need to channel the image of a legacy which he has carried forward as part of Shiv Sena president. A legacy that was handed over to him by Bala Saheb Thackeray. A legacy that is being challenged right now and is being trying to be usurped right now by someone who was perhaps Mr. Uddhav Thackeray's most trusted ally, and is now the trusted ally has been used by the Bharatiya Janata Party to backstab the party president. So he was only addressing a huge number of party workers who had come to see him, who were disturbed by the fact that ECI has done what it has done, unexpected of Election Commission to act like entirely compromised institution. And he was addressing to the people of the party that he will fight this out and we are willing to fight this battle head on. So whether it is, if it is being, compared to Bala Saheb Thackeray ji, it is part of, the legacy that he carries forward as a Thackeray.
When it comes to the EC's ruling, here is what the EC is supposed to depend on. And I'm reading this out. Primarily, they have to ascertain whether a claimant within a political party is enjoying the majority support. You have to examine the party's constitution and list of office bearers submitted when the party was together. So essentially, they have to see for the legislative wing how many MPs and MLAs are in each of the rival camps. And purely in that regard, the ECI has found that Mr. Shinde enjoys a majority when it comes to MPs and MLAs.
So I'll tell you two things here. They have referred to the Sadiq Ali case, and like I said, in 2003, there was the 10th schedule knocked off the 1/3 requirement and made split of a party as unlawful activity. It was not part of the constitution. So they've given that as one reason. Now, second, a political party is more beyond its legislative party. And we must understand these legislative members are elected on the leadership of Shri Uddhav Bala Saheb Thackeray under the party symbol, under the political party name. To hand over a political party on the basis of legislative strength, two problems. One, overwhelming majority of organizational support is with Shri Uddhav Thackeray. Right from 20 lakh primary membership forms to 3 lakh office bearers affidavits, to 160 national executive members, to over 18 Rajya Pramukhs in support of Shri Uddhav Thackeray. On the other hand, 0 national executive office bearers in support of Shri Eknath Shinde. Out of 8 Rajya Pramukhs, 11 are with him. Out of the primary membership, he's filled in about 3.5 lakh. And out of office bearers, there are 0. Organization plus legislative strength is what's a political party. And now the second part of the problem, legislative strength that they're talking about. Legislative strength is sub judice simply because Supreme Court's 5-judge bench is still hearing the case of the disqualification of 16 MLAs. So that also falls flat when Election Commission chooses to hand over only on the basis of legislative strength. Third problem, they quote the Sadiq Ali case. The Sadiq Ali case was taken at a time and before 2003 when a split was not an unlawful thing, was recognized by the Constitution. But after 2003, there is nothing like a party split being acknowledged in the Constitution. If 2/3 of the people in the legislative party have lost faith in their leadership, they will merge into another political party or they will form their own political party, and contest an election and win the mandate of the people. Again, which has not been adhered to. So to bypass everything, suddenly hammering down this entire decision, I think is bad in law. and will be challenged in the Supreme Court. And if you look at the past instances too, including the Lok Janshakti Party, till now they haven't reached a final conclusion. A problem which started before us, 2021, hasn't reached a logical conclusion, but you've seen rapid hurry to ram this through simply because there are local body elections due in Maharashtra, and they know, Bharatiya Janata Party knows, that they will suffer badly if there is no decision coming out of this.
So you have decided to contest this in the Supreme Court. Strangely though, your ally and a very seasoned politician, Mr. Sharad Pawar, has advised Mr. Thackeray to move on and said if the Congress could win on the hand, then why can't you win on the mashal? Move on, he's saying. Why is he saying that?
No, listen, here's the thing. I total respect what he's saying, and he comes from a good space when he says move on. But here's a problem. Today it's happening with Shiv Sena. Tomorrow it could happen with YSRCP. You are pronouncing judgment which is bad in law. And you are actually breaking down the constitutional morality of the 10th schedule. Either you do away with the 10th schedule, or you do away with the powers of the speaker, or you do away with political parties. You can say now, if tomorrow, let's say someone in Bharatiya Janata Party Madhya Pradesh unit, overwhelming majority, two-third majority, go away with Shivraj Singh Chauhan ji. Shivraj Singh Chauhan ji will be handed over the entire Bharatiya Janata Party name and political party. A political party is more than its legislative members. And that is why this is bad in law, and that is why we need to contest it. Tomorrow it could be YSRCP, day after tomorrow it could be TMC, a few days later it can be BJD, it could be the Congress party. For all you know, something which is bad in law needs to be challenged. We will fight this out. We are ready for a fight. We are starting afresh. We started with the Mashal. Andheri by-poll elections, we won on a new symbol.
Election Commission, you are saying, may have taken 2,000 crores. It has been alleged by your party. Then how can you trust the Supreme Court also? Tomorrow somebody will question the Supreme Court.
Yes, ma'am, here's the point. Anything that is bad in law, and I've already given you very valid reasons. I'm not going into the charges, the 2,000 crores, etc. I have just given you very valid reasons as to why this is bad in law. And this can lead to repercussions with regards to constitutional morality and principles of democracy. After that, of course, we are fighting a constitutional fight. We are taking all the routes available to us through the Constitution. I'm also giving you the argument that has been presented from the other side in the Election Commission, and for the Election Commission to overlook everything. All I'm saying is, if the Supreme Court, we have total faith in the Supreme Court, and like I said, we are willing to fight this out from the beginning. But the question here arises is, and I think this is something for every person who's viewing this should understand, if an enforcement directorate, which was very overactive in Chhattisgarh today, has been totally silent on the Adani Group issue has been used to give clean chits to those who have defected from Shiv Sena, were used to engineer a split in the Shiv Sena, were willing allies of the split. And then you have a ECI being moved in to give a stamp of approval for a political party along with its overlooking the organizational strength and only the legislative strength and taking it away while the legislative strength is being heard in the Supreme Court. It raises questions on credibility and what is the pressure and what was the hurrying rush to do that when we are fighting this out. And if you are in a hurrying rush to do that, why is the Lok Janshakti Party on? Those are questions that people in the country will ask. And that is all we are asking. We believe in all the institutions. We are hoping that these institutions continue to be independent, not misused, not undermined. And they speak up for, the values that are enshrined in our constitution. But if they fail to do so, I think it becomes our responsibility to speak up about it. And I've given you reasons for it. If you think my reasons are invalid, you can very well say that these are invalid reasons. But I think these are very valid argument points for the Supreme Court to look at.
All right, I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you very much, Priyanka Chaturvedi, for speaking to us. Two parallel fights the Shiv Sena says they are going to fight. One is the constitutional one, and the other political one will be tested soon as well. Thanks for speaking to us. The other big story that we're tracking on the channel, there's no end to Brahmin bashing, it seems, by the DMK and its supporters, and the latest attack came couched in a cartoon strip. A supposedly satirical take posted by the DMK's IT wing depicts a conversation between two Brahmins. One of them purportedly says, and I quote, "We poke the eyes of non-Brahmins with our own fingers." To this, the other Brahmin caricature says that this has been done since eons. Taking umbrage to the brazen insult, the BJP has now accused Stalin's party of resorting to dividing and denigrating Hindus only for the sake of votes. However, for the DMK, they say it's just a statement of facts about politics in Tamil Nadu.
When we speak of Dravidian model, why do they speak about us, ill of us? This is what is Dravidian model. Why Dravidian model was there? Why it came into existence? They are explaining, that's all. When Dravidian model started and how it started and what is the need for this Dravidian model, it is just an explanation. We have to go back to history, otherwise they will say that no, these people are always, we were never against Brahmins. But at one point of time, non-Brahmins were not allowed to study. How will we face it?
DMK has been always an anti-Brahmin, anti-Dalit party. Mr. Stalin had said that it is an extended arm of the DMK, is an extended arm of the Justice Party. And DMK has been abusing the Brahmins right from the day one the Dravidar Kazhagam started, right from A.V. Ramasamy Nayakar. And they found that they can earn money, they can earn power, they can earn fame only by abusing Brahmins. And that is how they came into the limelight. And still they believe that it will work out. But this is something like hatred.
You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 2 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
So what really is the reason behind this kind of politics? Umanandan is also joining us from Chennai, along with Dr. Pentapati Pullarao, a political analyst, Mr. Ramasubramanian, also a political analyst. Umanandan, let me start by asking you, because the justification by the DMK is that this is a part of history. This is not to be taken in the present context.
See, what is the foundation for the Dravidar Kazhagam, Justice Party? Sheer Brahmin hatred. They could not digest this caste was always rising up to the occasion, always for everything. At the drop of the hat they have to, and that was the political platform they used to succeed, because no other community will tolerate this insult. So they are continuing to do this, but when they want an auditor, it is a Brahmin auditor. Prashant Bhushan, they had their own political advisor to whom they paid a dakshina of 200 or 350 crores. Prashant Kishore. Their auditor is a Brahmin. Their lawyer will be a Brahmin. Their doctor will be a Brahmin. But the Brahmin will be bashed for everything at the drop of the hat. If it doesn't rain, it's because of Brahmin. If it floods, it is because of Brahmin. So the DMK, their allies, they have always been like this. And as you know history, I don't know how Mr. Ilangovan, a good friend of mine, talks about things which never happened. A Brahmin has never stopped anybody from entering the temple. A Brahmin has not stopped anybody from entering a school. The Brahmin has never resorted to violence. The Brahmin has not burnt houses or huts, has not taken to violence. With all this, it is sheer jealousy that the Brahmin, with all this trampling, always rises to the top.
Mr. Pullarao, it is a part of our secular democracy that everyone is equal. How is it that those people who speak against casteism are the first ones to attack one community for its caste? Don't they deserve an equal amount of dignity and respect in our country?
Let me just remind Mrs. Anandan and you also a little bit of history. 1967, Periyar Ramaswamy supported the Congress against the DMK. The first time the DMK captured power. And you know who led the alliance of the DMK? C. Rajagopalachari, the Brahmin of Brahmins, a highly respected figure. That alliance led by Rajagopalachari brought the DMK to power. Periyar Ramaswamy, whom you're quoting, and all these people are quoting, was against the DMK. And that went on. Yes.
Okay, Ms. Anandan, quick rebuttal from Uma Anandan. Quick rebuttal, yes.
Yes. Tell me, Anand.
No, see, they always tell this incident, Rajaji. That is why Rajaji lost the respect of the Brahmins. And they are telling the TV Ramasamy, you know the amount of dirt that DMK and DK threw at each other when he married Maniammai. But then when they came to power, they become bum chums. When they come to power, they become bum chums. And there is no difference between the two at all. And look at the allies of DMK. Look at all the allies, the communists, Tirumavalavan, everybody. They enjoy Brahmin bashing because we do not retaliate. We cannot stoop down to their level.
Mr. Pullarao, you are absolutely right. You are absolutely right that people who've been Brahmins or non-Brahmins have also played a very important part in politics of Tamil Nadu, which is all the more reason that one doesn't understand why this constant mocking continues. Because it's not just this cartoon strip about some, politics of Tamil Nadu. You had a DMK spokesperson. You had Mr. Rajiv Gandhi, who in fact spoke of how Brahmins should be killed. Then you had another DMK leader, R.S. Bharti, who called H. Raja a Brahmin dog. So these kind of insults are pretty commonplace. And it's just because it is politically convenient, because you can get away with it. Why?
The most famous Dravidian state, you know all these problems going on about temple entry of scheduled caste people. Even yesterday your TV reported it. You see, some incidents are magnified. But the basic fact is what I said. DMK came to power because of Rajaji. They remember it. Everybody remembers it. Periyar opposed DMK.
Sir, no stray incidents are being highlighted. This is about basically a party saying we're taking an anti-Brahmin stand and that is going to be our brand of politics because that is what our supporters follow and that is not okay.
There is no anti-Brahmin stance in these parties. Jayalalitha was a Brahmin. Jayalalitha was a Brahmin.
That's a big joke. And how was she treated? And how was she treated for being a Brahmin? She had to come to the assembly and court. Yes, I am a Brahmin. You people kept quiet.
The same way.
You people kept quiet when Jayalalitha was there. You were scared of her.
She was treated the same way as Karunanidhi was treated. A 90-year-old man carried away in the middle of the night at 2 a.m. She got the same treatment. Everything is equal there. The Brahmin and the non-Brahmin and such things. I don't defend some of the extreme elements, those who castigate Brahmins. That is, I don't agree at all. But don't forget crucial history. Annadure was brought to power by Rajaji. Brahmins are respected. As you rightly said, why do they have Brahmin lawyers?
So
why do they have Brahmin accountants?
You don't have any other point. You're repeating the same thing.
Yes, I agree.
Why are you repeating the same thing?
Mr. Ram Subramaniam, to say that these are only stray comments, anyone who observes the politics of Tamil Nadu would disagree. Casual disregard for people who are temple goers, repeated allegations that there is an effort to try and take over temples, and then very specific slides and very specific comments that are made about one community, namely the Brahmin community. It hasn't just come from one cartoon, it has come from a party spokesperson, it has come from a party MP, and none of these people, by the way, have been acted against.
Yeah. First of all, I would like to tell you one thing. I am a Brahmin. I am an higher Brahmin from Tamil Nadu. But this problem arose. Whatever we are talking today has arisen out of a problem that has been created by Brahmin community in a conference at Coimbatore. The Coimbatore Pambras Association held a conference, and in that, some very prominent people spoke, especially one Mr. Tiruchi Kalyan Raman. He spoke certain things which are absolutely unacceptable. When another speaker was saying that we Brahmins are the superior people. Another journalist was also talking something not palatable at all. See, all these problems arose. Today what we are talking is on account of the bashings against the non-Brahmin community by the Brahmin people.
Umanandan, you only have yourself to blame.
Once we do, somebody does.
Miss Anandan.
Somebody does once and you can't take it. You can't take it. 1 minute, I would like to ask Mr. Ramasubramaniam. He points out at 1 or 2 incidents. He is a real disgrace to our community. One of us retaliated, he is pointing out to the entire community. And we have been taken shit for
centuries. I don't care about what you say.
So shut up.
I'm a disgrace
shut up and
don't. It is none of your business to contact. When I come, you cannot
3 of them, you are a disgrace.
Conduct like that.
Ask him to
don't
get out.
You're
a disgrace.
Don't try to be a holier than thou attitude. Don't have the holier than thou attitude. I am making it absolutely very candid and very clear.
I am not.
Don't
I am
have
not.
that
You're an idiot.
Attitude.
You're an idiot of the first order. You're an idiot of the first order.
Yeah, I am
You're an idiot of the first order.
Please, let's watch our language. Please, let's watch our language. Ms. Umanandan, please finish your point. Just hold on a second. The point being made by Mr. Ramasubramaniam is that this is an ongoing back and forth. There are plenty of people who are provoking on the other side as well. And if you try and establish your caste supremacy, there is going to be a backlash.
Padmaja?
Yes, ma'am.
Padmaja ji, I would like to say one thing here. First, we have been taking brickbats for centuries. We have never retaliated. And once, yes, I agree whatever that man spoke is wrong. But just one person speaks. While when we support the non-Brahmins or come to their rescue, they say, why are you crying crocodile tears? They don't want us to get united as Hindus. And this person is talking about that. Just one person retaliates and is taking cudgels against the entire community. While the majority of the Brahmin community came against that man. Why is he not talking about it?
Mr. Balasubramaniam. Ramasubramaniam, go on.
How many people have only because...
Idiot.
See, no, I think that this lady is talking through her hat. I don't accept all these statements. See, first of all, let me tell you one thing. The problem arose...
You don't have hair. I can't talk through your hair.
You
don't have hair. How can I talk through your hair?
I said you are talking through your hat. I'm not talking about hair. Please understand. I think you should understand English also. Yeah, you have.
I have to talk through your hat. I have to talk through the hat because you don't have hair.
No, it is none of you. This is how you are making your discussion a very big mockery. In all discussions, you are raising your voice and making everything mockery. Yeah, see, which person? He is saying. Madam, please allow me to talk.
Okay,
please allow me to talk.
One at a time, please. Yes,
otherwise, I can't. This Kalyana Raman has been talking highly ill of a non-Brahmin community. He was talking very, very ill of Nadar community, other non-Brahmin community. I cannot have the holier than thou attitude. I cannot be called as a superior person intellectually.
Okay,
a great giant.
Respond now. No holier than thou attitude.
We all agreed.
Both sides to blame. Yes.
Yes. One person talks and is taking against the community, while our community has been taking brickbats for centuries. What foolish argument for one person is talking. Has he opened his mouth against the umpteen insults that we have faced? Has he spoken against Rajiv Gandhi? Has he spoken against R.S. Bharati? Has he spoken against any other DK person? What nonsense is he talking? For one person he is shouting.
Mr. Pullarao.
What?
Heard everything. There's a lot of disagreement on what was said, what was unsaid. But the basic thing is these are blown out of proportion. Yes, some fringe elements, some non-entities voice such statements in the DMK or something, we take it too seriously. I think the larger population...
No, it is not fringe elements at all. It is a member of parliament. It is in fact a party spokesperson. Now it is the entire party's IT wing. These are not some fringe elements and none of them have ever faced action.
No, they have not been sacked. You can't sack everyone for one single statement, as my friend has said. This is ongoing.
Sir, if an entire community was to be mocked, would you say that it is one stray statement?
I don't think votes are secured for this. Votes are secured for other things.
Exactly. Votes are not secured to go after any one community either. And it is done with such a casual disregard. That's the problem. See, here's the thing. I agree with you, it is not correct. Here's the thing, that divisive politics, parochial politics may pay dividends, but ultimately it goes against the very secular fabric of our country. You know, this kind of politics where you do a north versus south divide, where you say, oh, you know, these Hindi speakers come and sell pani puri, or you say, oh, these Brahmins, they're always poking others in the eye. It may be politically convenient, but don't you agree, sir? This goes against the very definition of what India is supposed to be about.
Very much. Just for zillions of years, you know, the term Madrasis also had a very pejorative impact.
And
but
it was resisted. It was resisted. When it happened in Maharashtra, it was firmly resisted. Similarly, you cannot have this kind of parochial politics or caste politics being practiced in the 21st century.
I had highlighted a wonderful instance to you in 67. Ramaswamy Nayakar, whom they are touting as a god, has said they should never come to power. Now if they say they are abusing Brahmins, it was Rajaji's acumen, it was Rajaji's brilliance, respect, which made the DMK come to power in 67, and since then the Congress has been out. All I'm saying is, don't take this as something sacrosanct. There are many views. This is a prism you have to look through. There's a lot of truth. You have to search for it.
Okay, search for the truth, Miss Anandan.
They make use of the Brahmins, as he himself agreed. And E.V. Ramasamy was against assuming power. He did not want it as a political party. He wanted it only against Brahmin bashing. He never spoke about a political career for Dravidian party. And again, repeatedly is telling about Mr. Rajaji. I would like to talk about Vaidyanathan Iyer and Devaraya. Why are they not talking about that? The Hindus, they say that Brahmins don't get along with the non-Brahmins. While we people we revere Devaraya because he was a man of stature.
Let me remind you one thing.
Bashing and they're not able to take it.
Let me just remind you one more incident. That the widow of Periyar once objected to celebrating Ram. You know the letter Indira Gandhi wrote to her? And what happened after that? Indira Gandhi said, my dear lady, your husband is named after Ram.
Save.
Forget all of this. And they didn't oppose it. You know, there is a lot of give and take. Society is some kind of flux. We are moving in the right direction. We are moving in the correct direction.
Take. What is he talking?
And these are small petty things.
Okay, you've given a very noble call. You've given a very noble call, Mr. Pullarao, to search for the truth. One only wishes that people who think that there is absolutely nothing wrong in satirizing or mocking a community would also heed this very noble call of yours. I'm going to end it at that. Thank you very much, both gentlemen and Ms. Uma Anandan, for having joined me. Thanks for watching.
The News Hour at 10 will be right back after the break.
हमारे साथ मौजूद हैं मोहुल, who is founder and CEO of Matter. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
So Mohul, we've already seen this bike. I still don't know what you guys going to call it right now, but hopefully, we're going to know about it in a couple of months, I believe, and more details that we already know about specifications and what you are offering with this bike. But उसके अलावा कुछ और चीज़ें हैं जिनकी डिटेल्स अभी आनी बाकी हैं. So इस बाइक को लेकर थोड़ा टाइमलाइन, इफ यू कैन एक्सप्लेन किस तरह का टाइमलाइन रहने वाला है एंड कब इसका ऑफिशियली लॉन्च आप करने वाले हैं.
Definitely. So first thing is at the Auto Expo we have also showcased the 6 kilowatt version of the bike. So at launch we had a 5 kilowatt version. Now we also have a 6 kilowatt version of the bike. And in terms of timeline, in the next 30 days we will be giving out the spec variants and pricing to the larger market. We will be opening up bookings for the Matter motorbike this quarter, and deliveries summer में शुरू हो जाने वाली है.
So एक चीज़ जो बहुत ही टेक्नोलॉजी कहूँ इंटरेस्टिंग है इस बाइक के बारे में, इसमें गियर है. इलेक्ट्रिक बाइक होने के साथ साथ इसमें वो आइस वाला आपने एसेंस और बहुत बड़ा एसेंस इसमें बचा के रखा है. सो वो कैसे आपने उस पर काम किया एंड हाउ डिड यू थॉट अबाउट दिस कि ये अगर हम इसमें इंक्लूड कर पाते हैं गियर शिफ्ट वाला पैटर्न, सो वो कैसे स्टार्ट हुआ? हाउ
So when we in 2019 when we were starting out, we spoke to a lot of consumers. The electric bike क्यों नहीं खरीदते? And in 2019 there were only a handful of players who were giving motorcycles as a product. And what we realized is that motorcycling is emotion driven. You name your bike, you work with it, you control it, you become one with your bike. And from there the common theme came, control नहीं मिल रहा, feel.
You're watching the News Hour at 10.
No respite for Delhi Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia in Liquorgate. The CBI has summoned Kejriwal's number 2 on February 26th. Showdown was witnessed inside Uttar Pradesh Assembly as opposition raised slogans against caste census. DMK peddles hate against Brahmins via satirical cartoons which depicts Brahmins boasting about Shudra atrocities. M. Shivasankar's ED custodial interrogation to continue as the Principal Sessions Court in Ernakulam accepts the Enforcement Directorate's request for 4 days of questioning. Shivasankar to be produced in the court on February 24th. Delhi Congress released list of AICC delegates ahead of plenary session. Jagdish Titler's name also surfaces in the list.
The News Hour at 10 will be right back after the break.
आ चुका है पोको X5 Pro का बॉक्स टेबल पे। अब इसको जल्दी से करेंगे अनबॉक्स। ब्लैक और येलो कलर का ये बॉक्स है, जो ज्यादातर पोको के स्मार्टफोन पे आपको येलो कलर, जो इसका सिग्नेचर कलर है, वो दिखाई देगा। Sometimes it is really tricky to take the tapes off, so let me try it with my nails. One tape down successfully. गाइज, ये जो फीलिंग है ना अनबॉक्स करने वाली, ये काफी ही मजेदार लगती है। जब भी आप कोई नया गैजेट अनबॉक्स करते हैं तो मजा तो आता है। जैसे कि यहाँ देखेंगे, बॉक्स के पीछे की तरफ बहुत सारे डिटेल्स लिखे हैं, बॉक्स के बारे में फीचर्स लिखे हैं, वो दिखाएंगे और उसके बारे में बात करेंगे जब फोन हाथ में आ जाएगा। इनसाइड द बॉक्स यू गेट दिस लिटिल पेपर बॉक्स एज वेल, जिसमें ज्यादातर पेपर वर्क और प्रोटेक्टिव केस ही होता है।
You're watching the News Hour at 10.
Over a dozen homes have been damaged in a massive landslide in a remote village in Jammu and Kashmir's Ramban district. Facebook and Instagram users will soon need to pay to be verified on social media platforms as Meta follows in the footsteps of rival platform Twitter. US President Joe Biden arrived in Kyiv today to stand in support of Ukraine. This surprise visit comes ahead of the invasion anniversary. During his address, Joe Biden has called for global support. The US president also said that US will remain with Kyiv as long as it takes. Trouble mounts for former Pakistan Prime Minister and PTI chief Imran Khan, who is likely to be arrested in an alleged prohibition funding case.
$110 mm एक्स्ट्रा, लंबा व्हील बेस, सेकेंड रो में ज्यादा जगह। यह है कहानी BMW 3GL की। नमस्ते टाइम्स लाइफ फैमिली, आई एम क्रांति संभव। वेलकम टू द फर्स्ट ड्राइव रिव्यू ऑफ BMW 3 सीरीज GL यानी ग्रैंड लिमोजीन, जो ऑब्वियसली रेगुलर 3 सीरीज से ज्यादा लंबी है व्हील बेस के हिसाब से। कुछ एक चेंजेस इसमें हुए हैं, तो इस वजह से ये हम वीडियो कर रहे हैं। उन चेंजेस के बारे में बताने के लिए और ये भी जानने के लिए कि जो दावा है कंपनी का सेकेंड रो में ज्यादा आराम का, ज्यादा स्पेस का, वो दावा पूरा हो पा रहा है या नहीं। सो बिफोर आई स्टार्ट टॉकिंग अबाउट दिस कार, सबसे पहले टाइम्स ड्राइव के बारे में आपसे बात करता हूं या अपील करता हूं। अभी तक अगर आपने सब्सक्राइब नहीं किया है तो प्लीज सब्सक्राइब कीजिए हमारे चैनल को, और सोशल मीडिया पर बाकी जो भी हैंडल्स हैं वहां पर टाइम्स ड्राइव के नाम से आप सर्च करें, उसे भी फॉलो करें। लेटेस्ट खबरें आपको मिलेंगी, और timesdrive.in है हमारा वेबसाइट, वहां पर तो लेटेस्ट खबरों के अलावा डिस्काउंट्स और जो स्पाई पिक्स हैं, आने वाली गाड़ियां हैं, उन सब के बारे में खबरें मिलेंगी। तो लेट्स स्टार्ट दिस स्टोरी। हम बात करते हैं BMW 3GL की। क्रांति संभव रिपोर्टिंग फ्रॉम द सेकंड रो ऑफ BMW 3GL। आमतौर पर ये वाला हिस्सा स्टोरी में बाद में आता है, लेकिन जब यूएसपी यही है तो फिर व्हाई नॉट स्टार्ट द स्टोरी विद दिस। और यहाँ पे सबसे पहली चीज जो मैं देख पा रहा हूँ उसमें कुछ बताने की जरूरत भी नहीं है। आई एम 6'3", बावजूद इसके लेग रूम, नी रूम आप देख सकते हैं कितनी ज्यादा मुझे यहाँ पर मिल रही है, यानी बहुत ज्यादा आरामदेह। आपको ये एक्स्ट्रा जो व्हील बेस है, एक्स्ट्रा जो इसका लेंथ है, वो आपको सेकेंड रो में देने वाला है, काफी ज्यादा एक्स्ट्रा आराम स्पेस के हिसाब से। और दूसरी चीज जो मुझे खास लग रही है, थाई सपोर्ट काफी आगे तक है, इसका बेंच जो है काफी ब्रॉड है, तो वहां पे आप लंबी दूरी पर काफी आरामदेह तरीके से जा सकते हैं। एवरेज इंडियन हाइट के लिए तो ये जगह काफी है, लेकिन ये जगह एडिक्वेट होगी, क्योंकि मेरी हाइट के लिए अगर मैं कहूँ तो यहाँ पर अगर मैं थोड़ा सा अपराइट बैठूं तो यहाँ पर ये मेरा सर टच कर रहा है, बट अगेन आई एम नॉट एवरेज इंडियन हाइट, थोड़ा सा मैं ज्यादा लंबा हूँ। तो ओवरऑल स्पेशियस, कंफर्टेबल मुझे लग रही है 2 लोगों के लिए खास तौर पर, और वैसे 3 लोगों की भी जगह है, लेकिन यहाँ पर ये जो हिस्सा है बैकरेस्ट, वहां पर आपको आर्मरेस्ट मिलेगा, यहाँ पर फोन वगैरह या टैबलेट वगैरह रखने की जगह है, और प्लस 2 कप होल्डर्स आपको यहाँ पर, या बॉटल होल्डर्स आई गेस कप होल्डर्स, वो आपको देखने को यहाँ मिल रहे हैं। ओवरऑल जो फील है वो काफी सॉलिड है, जो फिनिश है काफी प्रीमियम है, जो क्वालिटी है वो काफी प्रीमियम आपको देखने को मिल रहा है। और यहाँ पर एसी वेंट अगर हम देखें तो यहाँ 3 जोन क्लाइमेट कंट्रोल आप समझ सकते हैं, क्योंकि यहाँ पर अलग से आप अपने पैसेंजर सीट के लिए, रेयर सीट के लिए अलग टेम्परेचर जोन आप यहाँ सेट कर सकते हैं, वो कंट्रोल दिया गया है। साथ में 2 सी टाइप के पोर्ट्स भी आपको देखने को मिल रहे हैं। सो फीचर के हिसाब से, आराम के हिसाब से, स्पेस के हिसाब से सेकेंड रो is very practical, and I think this is the USP of this car. Gautam is reporting from the first row of or driver seat of BMW 3GL, और यहाँ सबसे पहली चीज जिसके बारे में बात करना चाहूंगा वो है ये पूरा स्क्रीन का सेटअप। जो शेप है उसका हल्का सा कर्व्ड आपको ड्राइवर साइड की तरफ, या ड्राइवर सेंट्रिक थोड़ा सा ये ज्यादा लग रहा है, बहुत ज्यादा नहीं, बट या यू फील कि हाँ आपकी तरफ ये मुड़ा हुआ है। सो ये कर्व इसकी बनावट है। यहाँ पर एक स्क्रीन है जो पूरी तरह से डिजिटल इंस्ट्रूमेंटेशन आपको नजर आएगा। दिस इज 12.3 इंचेस, और यहाँ पर दूसरा जो स्क्रीन है 14.9 इंच का। यहाँ मोर और लेस इस सेंटर पैनल में जो बटन्स आपको देखने को मिल रहे थे, आमतौर पर जो दिखते हैं वो सारे बटन्स यहाँ से लगभग नदारद हो गए, जो बहुत ही बेसिक फंक्शंस हैं, चाहे वो एसी के स्पीड का हो या फिर वॉल्यूम कंट्रोल का हो, ट्रैक को आगे पीछे करने का हो, वो आप यहाँ बटन देख रहे हैं। अदरवाइज मोरलेस सारे कंट्रोल्स मुझे यहाँ नजर आ रहे हैं। थोड़ा वक्त लगेगा इसके टच स्क्रीन के बिहेवियर को आपको समझने में या आदत लगाने में। यहाँ पर आपको वायरलेस एप्पल कार पे एंड्रॉयड ऑटो भी मिल रहा है, प्लस ये सारे ऐप्स यहाँ पे देख सकते हैं, इससे आप कंट्रोल कर सकते हैं। एक और चीज़ जो इसमें एडिशन हुई है वो आपको बताएं, जैसे एक बार आपको याद होगा बहुत पहले मैंने BMW में जब पहली बार वॉइस कमांड्स आए थे, तब मैंने जब कमांड दिया था, हे BMW प्लीज ओपन ड्राइवर साइड विंडो, तो ये विंडो अब तो खोल रही है, लेकिन पिछली बार इसने मना कर दिया था कि भाई इतना काम तो तुम खुद कर लो, बाकी सारे कमांड्स तो मैं मान ही रही हूँ, लेकिन अब वो भी आपको इसमें देखने को मिल रहा है। फिलहाल ऑडियो के लिए, बेहतर ऑडियो के लिए मैं इसे करता हूँ बंद, और अब बटन्स की बात पर वापस आता हूँ, क्योंकि बहुत सारे बटन्स आपको यहाँ देखने को मिल रहा है। आई ड्राइव फंक्शन तो है ही, जो ड्राइव सेलेक्ट वाला जो टॉगल स्विच है वो भी आपको थोड़ा सा अलग नया डिजाइन में देखने को मिलेगा, जहाँ पर थोड़ा मिनिमलिस्टिक है, बट यूज के हिसाब से एर्गोनॉमिक मुझे ज़्यादा लग रहा है। आप आराम से ड्राइव के वक्त बिना नज़र हटाए मोर और लेस इंफोटेनमेंट स्क्रीन के बहुत सारे फंक्शंस को और ड्राइव के फंक्शंस को आप इस्तेमाल कर सकते हैं। यहाँ पर मीडिया, टेलीफोन, होम, मैप, नेविगेशन, ये सभी कंट्रोल आप इस शफल इस डायल से कर सकते हैं। इलेक्ट्रॉनिक पार्किंग ब्रेक है ऑटो होल्ड के साथ। इसके अलावा अलग अलग ड्राइविंग मोड है, स्पोर्ट, कंफर्ट, इको। इंजन स्टार्ट स्टॉप बटन आपको यहीं पर दिया गया है। पार्क असिस्ट और ट्रैक्शन कंट्रोल ऑफ भी आपको यहीं मिला हुआ है। तो यहाँ पर RNDS दिया गया है, यानी रिवर्स न्यूट्रल ड्राइव या फिर स्पोर्ट वाला मोड। इसके अलावा पार्किंग के लिए आपको पार्क ब्रेक के लिए यहाँ पर अलग से बटन P वाला दिया गया है। एक और चीज जो यहाँ पर स्टीयरिंग व्हील जो कि काफी रोबस्ट आपको फील होगी, बल्कि दो चीज यहाँ पर मैं बता दूं जो देखते ही आप समझ जाएंगे। एक तो पैडल शिफ्टर्स आपको इसमें मिल ही रहे हैं, दूसरी चीज जो खास आपको नजर आएगी वो M स्पोर्ट बैजिंग, यानी ये स्टैंडर्ड आपको M स्पोर्ट वाले ट्रिम लेवल में आपको ये कार देखने को मिलेगी। तो ये बात होगी ड्राइवर सीट की। अगेन जो लेदर है, जो फील है वो आपको काफी प्रीमियम मिलेगा। जो थाई सपोर्ट है वो लंबी दूरी के लिए थोड़ा सा और आप इसे इस तरह से आप यहाँ पर एक लेवर ऊपर कीजिए और थाई सपोर्ट और बेहतर हो जाएगा, लंबी दूरी के लिए आएगा, ज्यादा आरामदेह है। तो सॉलिड है। फीचर्स के हिसाब से आपको ये लोडेड मिलेगी। कई सारे एलिमेंट्स आपको इसमें नए मिलेंगे। सो अपडेटेड भी है, अपग्रेडेड भी है। एंड आई थिंक ड्राइवर्स जो है इस सेगमेंट में वो खुश होंगे ये सभी देखकर। आर्मरेस्ट, यहाँ पे C टाइप चार्जिंग पॉइंट और फोन रखने की, सामान रखने की जगह। अच्छा, एक चीज तो बताया नहीं, काफी साफ सुथरा ये पूरा लेआउट है, लेकिन ये जब आप फ्लैप ओपन करेंगे तो यहाँ नीचे आपको वायरलेस चार्जिंग की सुविधा मिलेगी। 2 कप होल्डर्स है, 12 वोल्ट का पॉइंट है, एक USB टाइप A का चार्जिंग पोर्ट भी आपको देखने को मिलेगा। तो लुक के हिसाब से चेंजेस इस BMW 3GL में बहुत ज्यादा रेडिकल नहीं दिखेंगे, लेकिन कुछ एक बदलाव आपको बताएंगे कि हाँ ये अपग्रेडेड या पहले से ज्यादा अपडेटेड है। सबसे पहले अगर किडनी ग्रिल की ही बात करें, जो ये डबल लाइन है वो, और प्लस ये जो डल मेटालिक पूरा ओवरऑल आपको हाईलाइट दिया गया है वो ज्यादा मुझे स्पोर्टी, ज्यादा शार्प इसे बनाता हुआ नजर आ रहा है। एक्टिव एयर इनटेक्स हैं जो जरूरत पड़े तो ये खुलते हैं, हवा अंदर जाती है। वैसे हवा के लिए यहाँ पर आप देख सकते हैं ये पियानो ब्लैक टाइप की फिनिश के साथ आप यहाँ पर इस फ्रंट एप्रन को देख सकते हैं। एयर इनटेक या एयर डैम जो हैं वो ज्यादा बड़े किए गए हैं। वहीं अगर हेडलैम्प के शेप की बात करें तो पहले ज्यादा स्लीक या थोड़े से स्लिम हुए हैं। DRL इन्वर्टेड L में शेप में दिया गया, अभी ऑन करके दिखाता हूँ। तो फुली LED हेडलैम्प के शेप में भी थोड़ी सी तब्दील की गई है, लेकिन ये जो DRL है वो आपको काफी शार्प, काफी इंटरेस्टिंग सा, यानी दूर से भी आप देखें तो आप समझ जाएंगे। जैसा कि हम सभी सिग्नेचर लाइट कहते हैं, तो ये सिग्नेचर लाइट आप इसकी समझ लीजिए। अगर साइड में देखें तो व्हील आर्चेस जो है वो हल्के से एम्पलीफाइड से लगेंगे। पिछला हिस्सा भी हल्का सा एम्पलीफाइड सा लगेगा, पहले से ज्यादा स्पोर्टी आपको ये फील होगी। अगर मैं टायर्स की बात करूं, अगेन जो डबल लाइन वाली फील आपको ग्रिल्स में नजर आई थी वो आपको यहाँ पे भी नजर आ रही है। इसमें लगा हुआ है 225/45 R18 प्रोफाइल के टायर्स, और जो पिछला टायर है दैट इज 255/40 R18। तो R18 आपको यहाँ पर साइज मिलेगा। लेकिन एक चीज आपको बता दूं कि M स्पोर्ट वाला वर्जन जो है वो स्टैंडर्ड है इस 3 सीरीज के GL वर्जन में। गाइस, हीरो मोटोकॉर्प ने एक लेटेस्ट स्कूटर उतारा है जिसका नाम कंपनी ने रखा है जूम, और X जो है वो एक तरह से हम कह सकते हैं कि जनरेशन X जो है जो लेटेस्ट जनरेशन है बाइक राइड करने वाली, स्पोर्टी स्कूटर या स्पोर्टी टू व्हीलर पसंद करने वाले लेकिन किफायती टू व्हीलर लेने वाले, इस तरह के कस्टमर्स के लिए कंपनी ने इसे उतारा है, जिसमें बड़े सारे फीचर्स ऐसे हैं जो आपको नए लगेंगे। कुछ एक फीचर्स ऐसे हैं जो बाकी आपको बाइक्स में या स्कूटर्स में इस तरह से देखने को नहीं मिलते हैं, और कुछ एक कॉमन है। तो इस जूम में क्या क्या खास है, क्या फीचर्स हैं, इसके इंजन के स्पेक्स क्या हैं, इसके प्राइसेस क्या हैं, इस वीडियो में हम आपको बताते हैं। सबसे पहले इसके लुक की अगर बात करें, यहाँ पर इस DRL को आप देख सकते हैं, ये स्टाइलाइज्ड H है, यानी हीरो के शेप में इस DRL का आप देख सकते हैं। यहाँ पर आपको जूम की जो स्टिकर है वो आपको बैजिंग देखने को मिल रही है। इसके अलावा 12 इंच का इसमें आपको व्हील देखने को मिलेगा, जिसमें आगे डिस्क है और पीछे आपको ड्रम ब्रेक देखने को मिलेगा। इसके अलावा बेस वर्जन में आपको ड्रम ब्रेक वाले ही वर्जन देखने को मिलेंगे। लेकिन इस आगे वाले हिस्से से मैंने इसकी कहानी इसलिए शुरू की, क्योंकि सबसे खास चीज जो है, सबसे खास फीचर जो इस स्कूटर में है वो आपको यहीं देखने को मिलेगा, जो बेस वर्जन में है, टॉप वर्जन में है, और वो है ये लाइट। ये जो लाइट आप देखेंगे दोनों साइड, बेसिकली ये कॉर्नरिंग असिस्ट लाइट आपको देखने को मिलेगी। जो इसका सेंसर है स्कूटर का, जब वो राइड के वक्त टिल्ट होता हुआ महसूस करेगा अपने आप को, लेफ्ट टिल्ट होगा तो ये लाइट ऑन होगी, और राइट टिल्ट होगा तो वो नीचे जो कॉर्नरिंग लाइट है वो ऑन होगी। और इसका मतलब ये है, जिस तरह से हाई एंड पास में आप देखते हैं कॉर्नरिंग लाइट, वैसे ही जब आप राइड करते हुए अंधेरे रास्ते के ऊपर टिल्ट कर रहे हैं तो एक्स्ट्रा लाइट, आपको एक्स्ट्रा रोशनी जो है वो मिल जाएगी, दैट विल हेल्प द राइडर्स रात के वक्त। इसके अलावा अगर पिछले हिस्से में आए तो यहाँ पे भी आपको स्टाइलाइज्ड एच का डिजाइन या शेप देखने को मिलेगा इस टेल लैंप में भी। और यहाँ पे जो डिजाइन है लाइट का वो आपको आकर्षक स्टाइलिश मुझे देखने को मिल रहा है। जैसे मैंने कहा था कि पिछले हिस्से में आपको ड्रम ब्रेक देखने को मिल रहा है। अब बात करते हैं इंजन की, जो इसमें 110 सीसी का इंजन लगा हुआ है, ताकत लगभग 8 bhp की मिलती है, 8.7 न्यूटन का टॉर्क मिलता है और 9.35 सेकंड में ये 0 to 60 की स्पीड पकड़ती है। हीरो का दावा है कि अपने सेगमेंट में सबसे तेज रफ्तार स्कूटरों में से ये एक है। अब हम इसके इंस्ट्रूमेंटेशन के ऊपर नजर डालते हैं। ये आपको फुल्ली डिजिटल डिस्प्ले देखने को मिलेगा। इसे मैं ऑफ करके फिर ऑन करता हूँ जिससे कि आपको सारा डिस्प्ले अच्छे से समझा पाऊँ। तो अच्छा लेआउट आपको देखने को मिलेगा। हल्का सा एक छोटा सा बेबी वाइजर यहाँ आप देख सकते हैं। आई गेस लुक के हिसाब से एक इसे कंप्लीट करता है। अब इसे ऑन करता हूँ तो यहाँ पर क्या क्या इन्फॉर्मेशन मिल रहा है। तो यहाँ पर ओडोमीटर है, हेलो माय हीरो, तो ये मैसेज भी आपको स्टार्टिंग में मिल रहा है। ये आपको एक इंटरेस्टिंग फीचर यहाँ देखने को मिल रही है, रियल टाइम फ्यूल एफिशिएंसी आप इसमें देख सकते हैं। इसके अलावा ट्रिप मीटर है, ओडोमीटर है, राइट में आपको स्पीडो मिल रहा है, लेफ्ट में फ्यूल गेज मिल रहा है और साथ में फोन कनेक्टिविटी की भी सुविधा कंपनी आपको दे रही है, जिससे कि आप मैसेज, कॉल अलर्ट ये सब अपने स्क्रीन पर ही देख सकते हैं। इसके अलावा यहाँ एक फीचर।
Hello and a very warm welcome. You're watching News Now Overnight with me, Priya Behel. First up, let's get you up to speed with top 50 stories. Uddhav Thackeray-led faction of Shiv Sena goes to Supreme Court challenging Election Commission's order to allot party name Shiv Sena and symbol bow and arrow to Shinde faction. Uddhav's plea fails to get urgent listing. Supreme Court asks the lawyer of Thackeray-led faction to mention it on Tuesday. UT camp has launched a scathing attack on the BJP, calling Home Minister Amit Shah the biggest enemy of the people of Maharashtra, accusing him of orchestrating this development. Uddhav's aide Sanjay Raut alleges that a transaction of 2,000 crore rupees has taken place between the BJP and the EC in order to purchase the name and symbol of Sena. BJP has hit back at Sanjay Raut, said he must back his claim with evidence as he goes to the apex court. Uddhav's ally and NCP chief Sharad Pawar suggests Uddhav must accept the new symbol after the EC order. After poll panel's decision on a name and symbol, Eknath Shinde's camp takes over Sena offices in Vidhan Bhavan. Protest was seen outside Sena Bhavan, where Shiv Senics gathered to protest against Shinde's takeover. Protesting Uddhav supporters also raised Shinde Chor Hai slogans. A complaint, meanwhile, has been filed against Sanjay Raut for using abusive and objectionable language against Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Eknath Shinde. Uddhav Thackeray, while addressing the media, says the Election Commission should be disbanded and done away with. Congress leader Pawan Khera mocks Prime Minister Narendra Modi's late father, distorts his middle name instead of Damodar Das, says Modi's Gautam Das. Congress General Secretary Tariq Anwar justifies abusive rant on PM Modi's late father, says Modi also takes jabs at Congress by name-calling the Nehru-Gandhi family. BJP's Amit Malviya tears into the Congress, says they have a habit of targeting Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Clashes broke out in JNU last night, once again between the ABVP and left-wing students over vandalism of Shivaji Maharaj's portrait. AB accuses the left group for disrespecting Shivaji Maharaj by throwing his portrait on the floor. Blame game continues, both sides likely to meet Vice Chancellor. Police will also register a complaint. Aam Aadmi Party gets into the controversy as well, says BJP is behind the clashes. No respite, meanwhile, for Delhi Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia in liquor gate scam probe. CBI now summons him on February 26. DMK's IT wing peddles hate against Brahmins via satirical cartoons which depict Brahmins posting about atrocities on Shudras. M. Shivashankar's ED custodial interrogation to continue as the Principal Sessions Court in Ernakulam accepts ED request for 4 days of questioning. Delhi Congress releases list of AICC delegates ahead of plenary session. Jagdish Titler's name also surfaces. BJP slams Congress's doublespeak, says Congress ka haath 1984 Sikh riot accused ke saath. Congress says the move is justified. KPCC working president claims Titler is a law-abiding citizen.